We are good to go, except there are other things you want to verify, moderator.
Yeah, we're fine. Thank you. Hello, Biafrans. Hello, Biafrans. I welcome you. Sorry. Hello, Biafrans and lovers of freedom all over the world. I welcome you today to our special presentation, Setting the Record Straight by IPOB Biafran Women, led by Madam Bridget Okafor. My name is Beatrice, and I will serve as your moderator. Without further delay, let's begin. We will start by opening prayer and words of exhortation by our very own pastor, Pastor Maxwell Nnamdi. Pastor.
Thank you very much, moderator. Thank you, the panelists and the very respected persons on the platform today. And I want to thank Biafrans and all those who are concerned with the state of affairs and the health of Nnamdi Kanu. Everyone across the board, whether you are a Nigerian or a foreigner, thank all of you for being there. We must pray. Father, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, we have not come here to present ourselves. We have come to present your will. We have come to present what you've planned for our generation and our nation. We have come here to speak on behalf of those that cannot speak for themselves. Right now, our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, cannot speak for himself because the opportunity is not given to him. But we are here to speak on his behalf. The truth and nothing but the truth. Lord, we pray that every item on our program today, may it go according to your will. Let it be a representation of your purpose in our lives and in the life of Nnamdi Kanu. We pray obedience to yield and embrace the truth. And that in the end, everyone will work together to ensure that Nnamdi Kanu is released. Thank you, Father. Even the word of exhortation we are going to hear, I pray that you bless your people. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Thank you, moderator.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Okay. And I would like to give our panelists a brief couple of seconds to introduce themselves. And I will begin with Madam Bridget Okafor. Please take a few seconds and introduce our panelists.
Madam Bridget. Thank you very much. And thank you all that had the opportunity to log in this evening. And those who will eventually watch our program, will appreciate you all. My name is Madam Bridget Okafor. I am the woman leader appointed by Nnamdi Kanu in 2019, and I lead the IPOB Women Biafran group. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I will call on Madam Helen to introduce herself.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Good afternoon, fellow Biafrans, non-Biafrans, and lovers of freedom. I am Madam Helen Wafa, been a long-standing member of this gracious and strong group that's been blessed and appointed by Nnamdi Kanu. And I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Helen. I will call on Dr. Oguma.
Good afternoon, Biafrans, and all lovers of freedom, wherever you are. I thank you for joining us this afternoon. I am Dr. Oguma, and I am very privileged to belong to this noble group led by Madam Bridget Okafor, a virtuous woman woman of integrity. I thank you for joining us and hope that others that will listen to this broadcast in future will learn the objective of this presentation and also use it to help move our group forward in the actualization of our Biafran nation. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay put to hear what we have to tell you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Guma. Please excuse our doctor where she is. She's not able to turn on her camera. But if you watched our last broadcast, she did a very detailed presentation on the heart condition of our leader. So she's where she is right now. She's unable to turn on her camera. So thank you, Dr. Guma. And I thank you for being here today in spite of your busy schedule. We appreciate that. How dedicated.
Thank you.
And we will call our next panelist, Sister Vivian. Please introduce yourself. Sister Vivian, you're muted, sorry. Unmute. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Vivian Wadike. I am a privileged member of this wonderful group of intelligent professional women called the IPOB Women USA group. These women are a rare breed of professionals, very God-fearing, dedicated mothers, and focused on freedom, equity, justice, and most of all, love for their people. I've learned a lot from this group of intelligent, wonderful, God-fearing women. It's been a great journey so far, even though there are times that we cry and there are times that we laugh. But it's been a wonderful journey. God has been in charge, and we're most grateful to Elohim. So grateful to be here. So thank you, moderator. And we also use this opportunity to also extend our hands of love to other women out there who've been interested to join the group. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Vivian. And I will also, like I stated, my name is Beatrice. I'm also a member of this this wonderful group. I am a secretary on this group, and I've been in this group from its foundation. It's been a privilege for me to serve my people, the Biafrans, and everyone alike, all our people back home. So I thank you all for joining us, and I'm grateful to be part of this awesome group of women, dedicated women, God-fearing women, like my sister stated. And then without further ado, let's get into the program. Thank you for joining us. And so the next thing on our program is opening statement by our very own IPOB women leader, Madam Bridget Okafor. She will make her opening statement and her introduction to this program. Thank you, Madam Bridget. Please take the mic. Thank you. I will unmute you now. Please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
we can.
Okay. Thank you once again. And thank you again, all our viewers and those who will have the privilege to watch this program at your convenient time. Once again, everybody know my name, the controversial Madam Bridget Okafor. That's what they named me, and I took the heart. Now, today we are out again to talk about our leader, Madam Nnamdi Kanu's release. Actually, this presentation is like a sequel to our letter that we published last week, asking various questions about his unconditional release. And today, we are out here to furthermore talk about this release and the reason why it is actually necessary to release him unconditionally. And again, to discuss some of the pitfalls and the stumbling blocks that are not supposed to be there, but they are there to prevent his unconditional release. It was a surprise to us to hear about the bail. And we all know what bail means. He doesn't deserve the bail. However, you will hear from us today. Firstly, we are going to actually introduce who we are, the IPOB Biafran Women USA, who was inaugurated by Nnamdi Kanu. Because of all the confusion that is going around, they are linking us with some group of women that are not part of us. So we are going to take time to extinguish ourselves from those groups and tell you who we actually are and what we have been doing so far. After that, the moderator is going to ask us some questions, and we will also give opportunity for our viewers to make their comments or ask questions, and that will be it for today. And after that, we would like you to take up this presentation, take it to your contacts, your friends, your well-wishers, everybody. And we pray and hope that God will be in charge in all our presentation, everything that we have to tell you today, to make it more fruitful than we ever thought. So back to you, our moderator.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, our women leader. You know, you work so hard, and to keep this group going is not easy. And I'm going to be coming back to you because the first question is directed to you. So the first question is, there seems to be some confusion between our group, the IPOB Biafran Women, and various other groups of women that are formed in America. So can you at least tell us the difference between IPOB Biafran Women group in America versus every other women group in America, please?
Thank you so much. That is very, very interesting, and that question is very, very important at this time. We are IPOB Women. We started as IPOB Women USA. These are a group of honorable, dedicated, and God-fearing mothers who were inaugurated in the summer of 2019 in New York by Nnamdi Kanu himself. During the inauguration, we had a prayer, and we had a song, and this group was officially inaugurated, and in that proceedings, Nnamdi Kanu officially handed himself and what he has to do, and the way we have to carry ourselves, and the way we have to help him, and presented it to us as mothers, and we accepted him as our own child. Do not underrate that spiritual and divine exercise whereby we circled him around. He asked for us to circle him around. That circling was when we initiated ourselves specially to his life. And since he doesn't have any more parents, we became his mother from that day. It is not ordinary that during his rendition, the only assignment that we took was how to bring him out from there. However, we have other groups that we were, during that time, we were so many of us, over 180 to 200 members. But unfortunately, you know how our people have inherited the method of Nigeria divide and rule. And also we have other group after his rendition. So a lady called Nelly, who, even though Chinasa Nworu is acting today as if he doesn't know. Nelly was one of their core members. They were working together as the higher core and the higher staff that speaks to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu 24/7. For us, we were like servants. We were serving the Biafran based on the mandates given to us by Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. So to differentiate us, these are a group of women who had a strong foundation of moral and genuine principles built upon the mandate of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. When he was renditioned, some of the women break away and followed Nelly. Nelly became their leader, and they formed the Umada group. And because they did not have that strong foundation, they were like breakaways. They did not last. And that is the people that Chinasa Nworu is asking, where are they today? They are the people, not us. We are still where we are. We do not make noise. We are still standing very strongly how we have been since our creation. So it's not really us. Then the second question about the linking, why Chinasa Nworu is linking us with the group.
Do you? I believe you have a tape you want to play for them to hear. Would you like to make your statement? Yes.
Yes. Before I explain to you the reason why Chinasa Nworu has been linking us to this group, if you don't mind to listen to his recent tape, because we have to exonerate ourselves from this group, because onye akpọrọ aha na-awụ aha ya, onye iberibe ka a ga-akpọ aha na-awụghị aha ya, then ya aza aha. The name he is calling, he is modeling everything together on purpose in order to tarnish our image. So that is one of the reasons why we have to clear that air this evening. So I want you all to listen to his part of his broadcast on 27th January of this year.
You don't know. America played a very major role catching Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Chinasa Nworu said it. It was a slow process they planned. Many of you in the public did not know when Mazen Nnamdi Kanu left America, when those women have arranged all the rubbish, they have got what they want to get, that the USA government blocked Mazen Nnamdi Kanu from entering America again. This is the people, many of you are shouting. Even some of those women in America are deceiving many of you talking. Ask them. The American government, the moment Onyendu left America, when all the money they used to sell Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, some of them bought houses in America. Right, Mohammed, they said it, they spent $670 million in Europe, they say in abroad, especially spent in America and in the UK. Like they said it, it's not me that said it, they said they spent $670 million in diaspora trying to destroy IPOB. Some of them in America, they bought houses. The moment all that transaction money happened, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was blocked from entering America. They will not tell you he was.
I can't answer this phone. Ma'am, we are in the program now.
Okay. I sent you a message. He sends greetings to all of you.
Okay.
Check, my other WhatsApp, you get it.
Okay, I will let them know. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Our women leader is always busy. Never know to anything concerning Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. This is about our leader, so no problem. We understand. Continue.
This is one of our great men behind the release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. We thank him very much. Tim, he is thanking us. He said that he has seen what we are doing because I sent him the invitation this afternoon. and he said we can go ahead, and I will let you know the message that he gave us after this. So if I can retrace my thoughts, we are talking about the linking. Oh, we are listening about, we are listening to those,
the recording of Chinasa Nworo.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, just like I said, before I continue,
I can play it for you. Yeah.
I will play it. Before I proceed, just like I told you before, Nelly and Oyibo are the core members, the staff with the DOS. All of them, we are working together as one. They know themselves. We, the IPOB women, Chinasa Nworo is saying that they released money. I can vouch for the group that I lead. We don't know anything about the money. He knows. So if he's talking about the women in America, he is referring to the women that he was working directly with. We don't know Chinasa Nworo. If he existed in this world, we did not know. We were just doing our work. But what actually got us is when he said it was a mistake, according to him, for Onyendu to create a women wing. We are the women wing that he created. So he lumped us together with those women that were his group, his own partner. Whatever caused the disintegration between them and Nelly and Oyibo, he knows, not us. But why we are really upset is him saying that it was a mistake for Onyendu to create a women wing. But let me tell you, Biafrans, the creation of that women wing in US is the best, that is the best thing that has ever happened in the Biafran struggle, and you are going to hear it. You are going to hear the reason today. So let's continue listening to her. Okay, Nagaja.
Banned, blocked from entering America. And many of you did not know that even as the rendition of Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria, the wife have tried everything. They blocked the wife, they banned the wife also. They tell him he will not enter America to go to lobby.
Okay, if I will tell you, who planned for the wife to come to America? Chinasa Nworo, did you plan for the wife to come to America? No, you did not. You did not even know the plan. But it's a pity that Uchechi had to tell Chinasa all these things. It's a pity.
So if I Madam Bridget, you can pause.
Say that again.
Yeah, if you can pause. So I just need to interject a little bit. The visa situation was when IPOB women, which this was Madam Bridget's idea, was trying to invite our leader's wife here to see how we can assist her seeking like a medical treatment options for whatever, for some issues that she might have. And this is why the visa issue came up. And unfortunately, they did not grant her the visa. Is that the case, Madam Bridget?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's
what
it is.
IPOB women. It was you that initiated the invitation for her to come. Out of the love you have for Onyendu, to extending it to Uchechi Kanu. Okay. I just want the audience to get understanding. Chinasa Nworo was never involved in the visa process. It was engineered by our women leader, Madam Bridget, in an attempt to extend her love where she have towards our leader, extending it to our leader's wife, Uchechi Kanu. All right. Thank you, Madam Bridget. Continue, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
The United States of American visa, the son of Nnamdi Kanu was having, the American embassy canceled it because he's the son of Nnamdi Kanu. And those who are USA, they come on social media, they talk, most of you follow them. Some of them are looking for who to marry them. Some of those women you people see in America coming on social media, they were sent abroad by Nigerian politicians. Some of them go there and become, they are connecting women, bringing ladies to look for all these governors. That is what many of them are doing. You could later abandon it.
Thank you. It's good that he actually mentioned the names of the people that he is referring to. Lena Agbanele, Lena Oyibo. Okay? All right, let's keep on listening. But our concern is why modeling it up with the creation of Women Wing.
We have their record. Who are pressing all these buttons? Let me ask their fans. Is America your friend? They are doing this to your leader. And since the whole Nnamdi Kanu, have you seen any of those people in America conducted even any protest in America?
Okay, the women we are going to talk about, he is saying, have the Biafrans seen anybody in America conducting any protests? The women, we set a pace. We had a groundbreaking rally, 3 days, three straight days in Washington, D.C. that shook the whole of America. Okay? Chinasa Nworu did not see that one. He did not see it. Or if he saw it, he swept it under the carpet. You know, they keep on staying in this radio, deceiving our people. It's so annoying.
The women were very fast to fly from America to come to UK because they were trying to, they know they have captured America. They know America is already in their hand. They want them to go to UK. They flew, some of them come to UK because they want to catch the women on that side.
Chinasa Nworu, a big liar. Now, the UK rally, the purpose of the UK rally is to take the fight. That was our motto. Take the fight to UK. It has nothing to do with what he is claiming. However, let me tell you the truth. Those breakaway groups, we were all together at that time. So whatever they did after we left, because immediately after the protest, the 1 week protest, right, in UK, the following day, all the genuine group of IPOB women, we left. But they stayed behind. That was what I heard later on. They stayed behind. And the purpose why they stayed behind is the errand, the message that Chinasa's group, Nelly, because Nelly was there, they have already formed another leader even before we went to UK. Chinasa's women, Nelly, sponsored this group, this breakaway group that we went to London with. And just like I said, so when they went there, Nelly was actually coordinating what they were doing with Azoka on the front.
Okay. I just
because immediately we came back from that rally. That was when we split. When they brought their confusion and I told them to leave. And they left and they formed Omada. That is how Omada formed. And we, the IPOB women, remained as we are. Nelly took about 3 or 4, 5 of them and they left. They left us. And you can see that we are broadcasting every day in the social media. You will not say that you saw Madam Bridget or any of the women that you will see here today in their midst. We were not with them. And I have explained this to Chinasa, to Chike Dozem. I don't talk to Chinasa Nworu. I don't talk to him. If at all I want to say anything, I call Chike Dozem directly and speak to him because he is the head of that DOS, not Chinasa Nworu. Chinasa Nworu is a jealous Oberon. You know the story of the old prophets in the Bible. That's what Chinasa Nworu is. The spirit of jealousy. That's what is controlling him.
Whoever advised Madam Nnamdi Kanu to bring women wing in this struggle, I am saying it is a very bad advice, and the negative effect on this struggle is so much.
Chinasa Nworu, you are lying. The creation of IPOB Women Wing is the best thing so far that happened in Biafran struggle. And you know that very well. But you know what? You will not accept it. Why? Because you are that old prophet in the Bible. In First King, Pastor, please correct me. The second, is it First or Second King, chapter 13, verse 11 to 39, right? Go and read that. Go and read that verse. That's what Chinasa Nworu is.
First Kings 13, 11 to 20. First Kings 13, 11 to 29. Yes.
It will take us years to repair.
Thank you.
The struggle is not something to make.
It will take you years, if at all, you have to repair it. It will take you years to repair the damage that you, Chinasa Nworu, created in IPOB.
Women wing. It is not an association. If they want to support, they support what we are doing. President Nnamdi Kanu came already and said, if our women comes out, Biafra will come. And that is where Madam Nnamdi Kanu is today. The women in America participated heavily. The siblings of Onyendu are part of what happened to Madam Nnamdi Kanu. We kept silent, they continued blackmailing people. We have communicated for how many years? Do they even talk about it? Those women that did those things, they perfectly orchestrated their plan. And if anything happened to Madam Nnamdi Kanu, they will never, ever step their leg in Biafra land.
Okay. Now, Chinasa Nworu, well, he knows the people that he was working with directly. These two women that he just mentioned their name, we are working with the DOS directly when Onyendu was out. They were the one talking to Onyendu 24/7. Just like I said, IPOB women, we were the serving group, serving our people based on the mandate that Onyendu gave us. So him linking the creation of IPOB women to whatever he is claiming is making a very big mistake, and he knows what he is doing. Now, the question I have with Chinasa Nworu, is the IPOB women, are we, what have IPOB women to do with the decision that the American government made? It has nothing to do with us. However, those women, maybe they do, we don't. My second question for Chinasa Nworu is this. If for the creation of IPOB women, he is claiming and merging it together with the UK government banning Onyendu from coming to America. How about UK? Onyendu is a British citizen, right? Look at how they abandoned their own citizen, have not done anything, leaving him there to languish in illegal detention. Was there, Chinasa Nworu, was there any women wing created in UK? Why did Britain leave their own citizen? Was there any women wing, Chinasa Nworu? If you have to answer this question, was there any women wing created in Britain? That's a question left for you to answer.
Thank you
very much, moderator.
Thank you. So just to kind of understand what you're saying, and also to let Biafrans know that we, the IPOB Biafran women, and how we were IPOB women, and then now we're by IPOB Biafran women in an attempt to accommodate our international members. We do we do our things behind the scene. We walk on the ground and do what we're doing. We'd rather let our achievements speak for us. Now, what our leader, Madam Bridget, is talking about is that this Chinas and Woru, the gossiper at Radio Biafra, Radio Biafra has become a place where men gather to gossip. Unfortunately, we would rather have them talk about the release of our leader and the demand for him to be released unconditional as per UN judgment. She will hear more detail as we move along the program. So now, Madam Bridget, are you trying to let Biafrans know that Chinas and Woru knows the difference between these women he has mentioned and us? Even by the time they were working, Chinas and Woru was working with the likes of like the people he mentioned, Oyibo, Nelly. We weren't even formed. He knows these people. Now, when these people have this individual had their own engagement and assignment directly with Onyendu, it has absolutely nothing to do with us. And Chinas and Woru knows about this. But every time he come up on the radio to gossip, he rather prefer to link us up with this individual that we know nothing about, just to stain us and to undermine us. Is that of your opinion? Is that what you're saying, if I understand?
Of course it is. Okay. That's what he's doing. He knows. He worked with Nelly and Oyibo directly. He worked with them directly. When we were on our own, doing all the best we can based on the assignment given to us by Onyendu. And another reason why he's doing this, Imana ndị Igbo na-asị akpọpụtara nwoke ka ọ bịa kpaa mgbe obido ghawa aja. Chinasa Nworu na-agha na aja o. Aja ka ọ na-aghazi. Ọ mazi ihe ọ ga-eme, ọ mazi ihe ọ ga-ekwu, aja ka ọ na-aghazi.
Okay.
So Chinasa Nworu, what have you done since the rendition Onyendu? Nothing. But you know your achievement, which you also said in one of the interviews, that what you have achieved so far is to mobilize thoughts, or what did he call them again? Warriors, media warriors, to stay in the social media and criticize, especially people who are doing good work. That is his only achievement. So aja ka ọ na-aghazi, aja ka Chinasa na-aghazi, ọ mazi ihe ọ ga-eme. But this is not the theme of our discussion today.
Yeah.
We go ahead. The most important thing for us is the release of Onyendu. You are going to hear for yourself all the things that this woman has been doing behind closed doors. And Chinasa Nworu knows this, but it's difficult for him to accept it because of jealousy. So in order to tarnish our image, every time he goes out to the radio, he will link us up with his core friends. Those are his core friends.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Madam Bridget. So my next question, which we transition us into our number 2 question, is that what is the objective and the goal that Mazi created IPOB women, and have we accomplished the goal in which the agenda that Mazi set for us? Can you tell us about that? What is the purpose of our creation, and have we achieved and exceeded it? Which I think I have, but I'd rather have you say it.
Well, we are still working on it when this devilish group of people planned and renditioned our leader. Yeah. Just like I said, we were created under a basic foundation, and we had a mission, we have goals, and we have a vision. Our mission stems on holding Nnamdi Kanu on a very high esteem as our own child. And that is why, from his rendition to today, we are still fighting for his release. And for our goal is to support all that he is doing to actualize our collective dream. And our vision is to get to our destination. We are still working on these goals. And unfortunately, he was rendition. And myself and my team, we take a moment to tell you what we have achieved so far, both when he was here and after he was renditioned.
Okay, thank you so much. So we will transition. So like Biafrans, like you heard it, our leader created also will be able to help him in the actualization of Biafra. and mostly in the area of fundraising and doing an awareness, which is what he mandated, one of the things he mandated for us. So now we're going to go into, and here, an IPOB Biafran women, we have achieved a lot. So much that most of you might not even have heard of. And I'm going to call some of our presenters to talk about some of our achievements that most people might not know, because we Biafran women, we are professional women, we have families, and we are very responsible women. We are not looking for publicity. We don't hardly come on social media, but we are focused and determined to achieve the goal that our leader has set for us. And without further ado, so we're going to transition into list of our achievement we have accomplished since the inception of this group, this wonderful group. Thank you. So who, Madam Bridget, I would like
you
to.
Our achievement is divided into two broad headings. Mm-hmm. One is awareness, and the other one is fund. Under awareness, I will talk about the awareness, and my team are going to talk about the other part of the awareness, as well as the funds that we have raised so far. Under the awareness, as Madam Nnamdi Kanu mandated for me to gather women, we were able to gather not less than 200 members nationwide. But unfortunately, because of all the confusion that is going on, most of them have scattered all over the place. That's a typical thing we see in any Igbo organization or anything. So, but meanwhile, we still have core people that still stand very strong. Then it will surprise you that it was this Madam Bridget that you are looking here. I was the one that created and founded the women that broadcast, the broadcasting team group in Radio Biafra. I formed it and handed it over to Dr. Tina. But today, Dr. Tina and Chinasa will team together to fight me. That's what we see. Also, it will interest you, and you may not know that I, with my group, with my core group, we formed the liaison group. And the liaison group was my idea. But you will not know that. And we will tell you what we did during the time I was leading that group. Also, I was the one with my core member again who formed the Gallant Men. Asked Sonyan the permission for us to include some men in our midst, because there may be some Biafran men who are interested to support the Biafran struggle, but because they do not have any platform, they may be reluctant to support. And he gave me that permission, and I formed the Gallant Men, who eventually metamorphosed to the Rising Sun group that we are seeing today, who are the only group standing to make sure that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is alive. And I will then give the mic to my other group to talk about more about our achievements so far.
Okay, thank you, Madam Bridget. So I will first talk about I'll give the mic to our sister Madam Helen to talk about some of our achievements. Madam Helen.
All right, please. Thank you very much. Before I begin my discussion, I would like to say a couple of things. Madam Bridget made a reference to mothers, and I would like our listening audience to know that this group is not just welcoming people who are biological mothers or fathers in the Rising Sun. You don't have to be a biological mother to be a part of us. that motherhood is simply a figure of speech for a person who is nurturing and caring. And, you know, to her points, that she really, the persecution that we have faced as a woman group, and we didn't inaugurate ourselves. If you look I'm an Igbo woman. In our villages, watch those men who persecute like widows or women. That is their preoccupation. You can rarely see a highly accomplished man engaging in such a behavior. It's very difficult. So that tells you a lot. And an Igbo adage says, Ike puama. Ike puama, you show your strength, go meet the enemy outside. If you are showing your strength in the home, that's where you flex your muscle. And as a man, that's actually where you should be your weakest. You are generally a loser. So having said that, I'm going to discuss some of our accomplishments, which is our outings, our rallies. So Madam Bridget also touched on it briefly. The first rally that this group had, well, I was a new member then, was in DC, and it lasted a couple of days. I think she said 3, but I thought it was 4. So when we talk of rallies, think about the logistics. United States is large. We are talking about logistics of accommodation, people coming from different geographical zones from the West Coast, which is so far. They have to fly in from the southern United States, Dallas, Texas area, coming to Washington, D.C. to do that for days. They paid for their own accommodation. They were not funded. These women do their own funding of their outings. And it was lovely. It registered loudly. That is when also the uniform was launched. And it in fact, it motivated me because I saw people who were devoted. I saw people whose mobility, elderly women, their mobility were impaired, and they flew from the West Coast and came. That's sort of, you know, it shed light on the level of devotion that these women had. And I watched how they treated one another. So I'm like, yes, I'll be a part of it. So that was the first outing of this group, and it was impressive. In fact, one of our sisters ended up catering food. It cost her a lot of money. People taking time out of work to do this, to bring awareness to what we are doing. And this group, talking about awareness, it's not only for registered IPOB members. No, it is supposed to be a bridge of people who are both registered and non-registered members, because I'm not a registered IPOB member. But I am an indigene of Igbo land. I'm a full-blooded Igbo woman, so I have every right. I have taken the oath in order to build the team process in this group. Yes. So you are invited, biological mother or not, biological father or not, you are most welcome to this group. So our second rally, it was mentioned, us going to London. We did not go there to campaign for membership. No. In fact, when we went to London, I remember we were sick. It was at the height of COVID. Onyendu was renditioned and we were devastated, right? So we felt that us going to London, they had more membership. And you have different countries. You have England, you have Ireland, you have maybe Italy, you have Germany. They are all close. They're like train rides away, even France, that we can congregate and make a loud noise in order to remind the world that this man should be released. That was the whole purpose of us going to London, nothing else. So we went to London against all odds. In fact, UK didn't want people coming in their country because logistically, people coming means more people getting sick. I mean, those of us that went, you can attest to the roadblocks we faced. First of all, you have to test for COVID 22.72 hours before you board your plane. When you go over there to London, you quarantine for so many days. You're going to test again before you start meeting. It was a lot. but we were determined. We had faced a lot of roadblocks to go to that London at our own expense, our hotel, our flight, our stay there, our transportation, in order to bring our awareness. And despite all this, God bless our efforts. Guess what? When one of the, I believe, commissioners was driving in, what impressed me was that this man of high standing, he was being driven into their office. He ducked because he didn't want to be photographed. That tells me they knew who we were, because we went to 10 Downing, we went to their Houses of Parliament, we went to Trafalgar Square, we walked. They knew who we were. We were disseminating literature. We were telling them what it is that we're upset about. And a lot of them remembered what Biafra was all about. We showed them graphics of what our people continue to suffer in the hands of this arrangement, you know, of Fulani oligarchy in our land. So it bore a lot of fruit. We didn't go there to campaign for membership of women. No, it was just to make sure that our leader was released. So that's the second outing, auspicious outing that we had. Again, we had another outing on Heroes Day in Washington, D.C. I flew in from my base to go there, and we had a rally in front of the British Embassy, again to remind them that Onyendu needs to be released unconditionally. You could see people peeping, opening windows, looking at us. Some people will ask questions. The expense again was on us. Nobody sponsored us. This is the sacrifice the women were making. Thereafter, we went to Bruce Mayrock gravesite. That, you know, I wasn't able to make it, but the group went. And we know who this young man is. He kind of immolated himself because of the suffering of our people, and he's one of our heroes. That's another outing that we had. So during summer, at Onyendu's directive, we began to have an outreach with the Rising Sun men to try and bring in our people, because it seemed like our people in diaspora were so passive about what is going on. So the first of that outing happened here in Massachusetts, and it was good. It didn't turn, we didn't have a lot of people like we were expecting, but it was a decent showing. And in that outing, a young woman had a rendition of our national anthem, Biafran national anthem, that you see on YouTube and on Facebook now. And on the background of that, look in the corner and you are going to see IPOB Women United States. So those are some of the outreach that we did. And the same outreach, we did it in Dallas, Texas. We did it in New Jersey, or in an effort to bring people in so that we can push our movement forward and liberate ourselves and our homeland. Another outing that we had was on our Heroes Day. We went to New York. That day, it basically took me 2 days. It was a long drive. We had a drive-through rally. It was an all-day long event. People were waving. It caught the attention of folks. We also had literature. We were in the front of, we protested in front of United Nations. We drove around the city. People will wind down their windows and have a chat at us and wave at us. So before then, because it was a 2-day process, we also visited Bruce Mayrock's gravesite. And, it was a success, but these are some of the sacrifices that this group have made. We've had many other outings, prayers, even in the same New York, in the cold. I know personally I drove there and the group was praying and did some protests, but because it was cold, they didn't walk around the city as much, but we obeyed with our spiritual support, Pastor Maxwell Nnawihe, who directed us to do that, and it was done. So finances, the central nervous system of any movement, especially a movement like this, is finance. and part of it is, fundraising. In fact, that is what we do mainly. And some of the fundraisings, I'm going to share some of it, and my fellow panelists will do the same. The first one I'm going to talk about was when
raise your voice up. Voice up a
can you
little
hear
bit.
me now?
Yeah, a little high, a little louder.
Your
All
voice.
Right. Your voice.
My voice.
Your camera is fine. It's just voice a little loud. Yeah.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, thank you. I'm sorry about that. So yes, so the finance, what I was saying is the central nervous system of a movement like this is finance, right? You don't conduct things free of charge. So some of our activities was in the middle of COVID, and when COVID hit, we sent relief to our people. It was almost an emergency fundraising, and we raised $5,000 for immediate COVID relief. And whatever we do, when we raise funds, we depend on Onyendu to give directives as to what he wants to do with that. And that went to COVID relief. That was one of it. And then another one is when our first mother, Ugeze, died, we also raised some money. We raised $8,000 to support in her funeral proceedings. That is what this group does, and this is not just collecting money from people. We task ourselves. We levy ourselves constantly. And I mean, I can't even, Madam Bridget can tell you some of the sacrifices of this group. So another fundraising that we did is the Kanu aircraft, which we raised. Guess how much? $60,000. And these are not the only funds we've raised. You're going to hear some more to stop the Nigerian government from purchasing it, because we knew what they were going to use the Tucano aircraft for is to bomb our homeland. So we kind of leveraged the Leahy legislation to stop them from doing that, and we were successful. $60,000 we raised.
Less an injunction.
Yes, on them purchasing it. So that's more, and you're going to hear from the rest of the ladies. So I'm going to take a break right now. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Helen. Thank you. Biafrans, if we began to list our achievements, we'll be here all day because there's so many, and we're not boasting. We have done so much. Next, I will call on our Sister Vivian, to present some of our achievements. Go ahead, my sister. Unmute yourself, please.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, our moderator, Sister Beatrice. Just to add to what Madam Helen, has updated us on, part of the tasking ourselves through membership. I remember that, initially when it started, based on history and, what we've done from the beginning, we levied $60 for registered IPOB members, and then $120 for non-IPOB members. We also added monthly levies, part of tasking ourselves, which all members, were members conformed to and paid, and we were able to come up with about 80% contribution to the Biafran Foundation. And to continue with that, on February 19th, 2021, the first IPOB Women fundraising raised $180,000, which was a really great move and touch of God, in our hearts as professional God-fearing women, to be able to come out of pocket, and then with well-meaning, other supporters to be able to, raise this kind of fund. The second one was ESN fundraising, which was $65,000. And also, we also had, in the history, Econso Foundation fundraising of $39,000. After that, our gallant men assumed the responsibility of raising Econso's children. And we can, be disseminating or, talking about those kind of prizes, because these are love, funds that we raise on behalf of family members when they are in their times of need and support. IPOB women continued to retain Bruce Fain. We know that is not cheap, and to help us fight, which according to our sister, Madam Helen, in helping to disable the Nigerian government's decision to purchase the Toscano aircraft, which we know the purpose and aim was to attack the people of Biafra. So I would just, this is just a lot going on. The list is ongoing. We can say a lot of all the achievements and all the taxes we've levied ourselves here, and just walking behind the scene with the fear of God and love of God in our minds, knowing that Nnamdi Kanu is not only, our brother, he's also our son, he's a father, and is a lover of people, regardless of whether you're Biafrans or from any part of the world. He's a lover of people. He believes in justice, equity, and freedom of people. So I'll just stop here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, my sister. Thank you, Sister Vivian. And I just want to add two additional achievements. You all heard Madam Bridget mention earlier that she was the brain behind the creation of Liaison, and that and that was her idea. So when Liaison was created, we were raising fund, and the purpose of that liaison, because I was with her at that time. So the purpose of that liaison is also to give our people an opportunity to participate in what we're doing in bringing fund, because we always, Madam Bridget is always in communication with our leader, and our leader is always saying, if we have the resource we need, we will go far with this Biafran actualization. And being that we all want Biafra tomorrow, and we were willing to, Madam Bridget goes, her mind works overtime trying to think of ways to generate funds. So the liaison, she was her baby and she created it. And even we went as far as different awards. We have like plaques for people who are willing to donate 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, and a special plaque and a very unique serial number will be given to you once you make that donation. And several people participated. And this unique serial number, it can never be replicated. So this can be passed down to generation and generation. It's a very unique combination. And our very own Father Augustine, and I want to also give a shout out to our Uche, our Mazi Uche Mbakwe, who was worked so hard and tried to generate a serial number and will go on the plaque that will make it authentic and original, that cannot be recreated. So with this liaison, we managed to raise 166,000. And then also there was a time that Madam Bridget was concerned that our people were not hearing the message of Onion due to lack of radio station in various places in Biafra land. And then she came up with the idea of raising money for a radio station to be placed in every nook and cranny in Biafra land. And with that project, we raised about $28,000 for that radio. And the list goes on, Biafrans. What IPOB Biafran women has done is innumerable, and it's not boasting. If we were to list it today, we would sit here all day. But we don't come out on social media to boast, because we do it out of our goodness, our own heart. You understand? So these are some of it, and there's more. But we're going to I'm going to limit mine here for now, and we'll turn it over to Madam Bridget. And I believe, and also as a secretary, our record. I take it hard, because I know I'm not just doing it for Biafra, I'm also doing it for the Lord Jesus Christ. I make sure that our financial record are up to, are very in order. And we once received an award for a wing of IPOB that has a very good record keeping system. If he asks us who gave what at what time, we will be able to give you that information. You understand? So this is how organized and well intended. So for China Sanworu to come on Radio Biafra to say that in light of all this achievement, that Onyendu made a mistake by creating women's wing, I think he's just bluffing. All right. So without further ado, Madam Bridget, I'm going to turn it over to you. I know there's a lot that I have left out. I'm going to let you to cover some of the ones that I have not remembered, because there's so many. You are so many. You never sleep. So
Yeah.
I use does this lady sleep? All right, Madam Bridget, take over.
Please, Madam Bridget, before
Actually,
you continue, if I may add something to what Beatrice said, that award, it wasn't just for record keeping, it was for stewardship,
yes,
for great stewardship of the money.
Thank you for correcting.
Yeah, that is one of the things that have kept me in this group, stewardship of money. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Helen. I appreciate it. Yes. All right, Madam Bridget, go ahead.
Actually, ladies, we all know that our aim, our modus operandi is never to show up or to try to take credits. Because number one, we understand our situation based on what our people are going through. And we understand the mind and the mandate of Onyendu Nnamdi Kanu. I was blessed to have women who are dedicated, who understand everything to work with me. So because of that, everything that we are doing, we just take it as if we are doing it for ourselves. We don't boast about it. But since Chinasa Nworu decides to model our name with people he understands that did not do it well, so that's actually the reason why we have to let you know this is what we have done, this is who we are, even though you don't see us in the social media, for you to know what we have done in this struggle. And we keep on doing, because just like I told you, that exercise of we circling, being in the being in our circle, initiated us to that motherhood of being the mother of Onyendu, and we are still working for his release, despite all the criticism, all the stumbling block, all the, you name it. There is no name that they haven't called me in this world. You know that that name doesn't exist. So in spite of all that, I have understood that their purpose is to see if I can stop what we are doing. But you know what? Onyendu has already given us a strong foundation to make sure that we do not leave him alone, and we are not going to leave him.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Bridget, for that. And as we continue, like we said, our achievements are innumerable. And if anybody wants to know, contact Madam Bridget. She will email you so you can read. And and it's verifiable. We're not just writing it down. It's verifiable. Achievements, well documented, well noted. So moving on the
and if you don't mind, if I can add this, because money is too important to our people. In spite of all the group that raised money, both in this USA and foreign country, this is the only group that have accounted for every single penny that we raised. Every single penny that we raised. We do not keep the money in our account. Once we raise the money, Onyendu will call and tell us where to send the money. It was either in that national account, the then national account before Onyendu was rendition, or to Germany. We are the only group that accounted for all this money that we raised. We raised the highest amount of money, and we are the only group that accounted for the money that we raised. Chinasa Nworu, if he is not an old prophet in the king, in second or first king, he will be thanking us for what we have done so far. But because on Agazi Aja ka on Agazi, and he's the old prophet in the Bible.
They do not have their priorities in order. Okay, so moving on, Madam Bridget, I'm coming back to you for the next questions. So a lot of people were saying when all this chaos was going on with all the different fragmentation of groups, why didn't you dissolve this group? Why did you allow it to keep with all the attacks and confusion? why didn't you dissolve our group? How come it's still strong and standing till today? I think you kind of answered it, but they need to hear it again.
Why will I dissolve the group that I did not form? I did not form this group. Onyendu formed us, and he formed us for a reason. Maybe a time like this, because we have formed a group, the only group that is actually saving his life. So why will I dissolve it? And again, hearing all this achievement, this is just few of them. Why will I dissolve a group that is this strong and doing all this? So it's not possible. And again, just like I said, we were found under the genuine moral and foundation based on Onyendu's mandate. We had a mission, which is Onyendu, it's our mission. He's our son. We had goals, and we have vision. Our vision is to get to our destination. We haven't gotten there yet. So why will I dissolve the group? I did not form it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Bridget. Thank you for reminding us that as well. And I would like to, with everything we have said today, and our leader, Madam Bridget, has said, I would like to invite any woman out there who is looking for a genuine God-fearing group that you want to join to help actualize our nation Biafra. IPOB Biafran Women is the group. If you're not genuine in the spirit, genuine in your mind, most likely you will not last here, because we are genuine. We are a genuine group of people. Our mission is finally defined for us by our leader, and that's where our focus is. So if you love Biafra, you want to help actualize Biafra, and you're looking for a group to join, our doors are open. We welcome you, and you are invited to come with us. We don't just come and stay in a group. You come and you do the needful. We don't collect bodies just to show bodies. We want genuine people that will actually rise and do the needful. So if you're one of those women, you are a righteous woman, a God-fearing woman, a woman that loves your people, Biafrans, and you want to help with this actualization of Biafra, we invite you. Come and join us. Reach out to our leader, Madam Bridget, and she will tell you the process in joining us. Thank you. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to transition into our next question. Our next presentation is going to be done by our spiritual leader, Pastor Maxwell. Now God connected us with this wonderful man of God when we first traveled to London to do our rally. He was very, very consistent. Pastor Maxwell called us every day at 12 midnight for us to do prayer in support of what we went to London to do. I have never seen any other man of God in Biafra land that have done this. Never. If anybody has, come on and tell me. And he's not being compensated. He's doing out of the genuine love of his people, the Biafran. So our pastor is going to be presenting the UN judgment, which is one of our achievements too. So we, the Biafran women, who we retain Bruce with the support of our gallant men, to take Nigeria to ICC, ICJ, and UN, and UN release their judgment. And I'm going to have our pastor, Pastor Maxwell Nnawehi, to present that UN judgment, to explain it to us, because he knows it back and front. Thank you, Pastor. God bless you.
Yes, thank you very much, moderator. Thank you, our viewers, and all the resource persons here on this platform. Thank you, everybody. I want to bring to the screen so that when I am talking, our viewers also will be seeing the United Nations judgment. I would like the host, the moderator, please. Yes, that is it. Can you scroll to the top of it so that they can see the body? You can zoom. Yeah, just zoom and make it more legible so that our viewers can see. You can zoom it so that it can be more legible.
Go to the 52. You see the 52% on top?
Yeah,
drop it down.
I'm trying to.
It is not legible.
Okay, 1 second.
It's not legible yet.
Okay. Oh my God.
Increase the percentage of the view.
Okay, 1 minute.
Maybe 100%.
All right. Yeah. The is okay.
Or can I bring it from my own end?
Yeah, you can bring it. I think the one is not giving me. Yeah. Okay.
Let me.
Yeah, please, if you can bring it to your own screen. Yes, yours is much better. Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear. We can see it.
All right. Thank you very much. And this is the UN judgment, as we can see. I hope it's very clear. I want to confirm that it's very, very clear.
Yes, we can see it, Pastor.
Can you pronounce this for me? Let me test whether you can see it. Can you pronounce it for me? There is something I highlighted there.
Disposition.
Yes, that's very correct. You can see it very, very clearly. This is a detailed document of the United Nations. This is their judgment. This is their opinion. This is a verdict that they passed over the case of Nnamdi Kanu in the favor of Nnamdi Kanu and against the Kenyan government and the Nigerian government. What you are looking at right now on the screen is not just a doctored document. It is not a fabricated document. It is not false. It is authentic, original judgment from the United Nations. The United Nations is the global body that when they cough, when they sneeze, many countries of the world begin to shake. United Nations has the right to sanction any country that they deem fit based on their role on the break and disrespect to human rights in their countries. United Nations has the right to sanction countries that refuse to comply with their recommendations. United Nations has so much power vested in it. It will require the United Nations to give legitimacy to any country that is created. For instance, as Biafrans are looking for a way to restore their sovereignty as a nation, it will require United Nations to sanction the freedom of Biafra. This is very critical. This is very important. If it comes to the point of referendum, it will require the United Nations to approve, to also witness and observe the referendum that will lead to the creation of any nation, including the Biafra Republic. United Nations, many of you understand who they are. I can go on to list their very important and very, very indisputable influence over the countries of the world. This document you are looking at right now on the screen came from them. And this is victory. This is victory for Biafrans. Whether those that died many years ago, it is still victory that they didn't die in vain. And those of us that are alive today, it is victory to us. And our children unborn, it is victory for them. Nobody should toil with this victory that God chose to give to us in this very generation through the hard work, selfless sacrifices, and contributions of a very few people, who some people, some disgruntled individuals are trying to blackmail and are trying to drag their names in the mud. It is unfortunate. Let nobody lie to you. This is not a Nigerian document. It is not just United Nations. It is not Israel. It is not Russia. It is the whole world speaking on our behalf through the United Nations. What you're seeing here is the paragraph 105. I am going to be reading from this paragraph 105. down to the last paragraph, which is 114. This document contains 114 paragraphs. So what we did in order to save time is to skip other paragraphs and go straight to the point. This is a judgment they gave with regard to the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And now let us read paragraph 105. In the light of the foregoing, the working group renders the following opinion. The working group on arbitrary detention, the Human Rights Council of the United Nations, the working group on arbitrary detention decided to give the following judgment that you are going to hear now. You are seeing it on the screen in relation to Kenya and Nigeria. The deprivation of liberty of Nnamdi Kanu being in contraventions of Article 2, Article 3, Article 6, Article 7, Article 8, Article 9, 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and Article 2, 9, 13, 14, 16, 19, and 26 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights is arbitrary and falls within category 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you count what we just read now from here, I hope you're seeing it on the screen. Moderator?
Yes, yes, we can see it, Pastor.
Good. You will see 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 10, 19, down to this very place. This is about 16 lords. It is about 16. About 16 Cohen, they call it Cohen laws, that Nigeria and Kenya broke over the detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And United Nations was able to point it out that these are the laws that you broke. These are your conviction. The laws you broke, 16 of them, of Universal Declaration on Human Rights and also International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. And because of that, what you have done in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, it is called arbitrary. It is arbitrary detention, and it falls within category 1, category 2, category 3, and category 4. Now, we go to paragraph 106. The working group requests the government of Kenya and Nigeria to take the steps necessary to remedy the situation of Mr. Kanu without delay. But as of today, it's almost 2 years. This document came into circulation on the 20th of July, 2022 for the records, but it was given between the 30th of March and the 8th of April, 2022. So as at the time that this judgment was made, look at what they said, that they should carry it out without delay. Now you can see about 2 years delay. There is now 2 years delay on the part of the Nigerian government and on the part of the Kenyan government to comply with this very judgment. And the women you are seeing on the screen in this very platform of broadcast, they made huge financial selfless contribution to achieve it. Nobody should ever for any reason trivialize it. There is no Igbo man, there is no Biafran, there is no African man or woman that will not praise his or her mother that has done very well. There is no Biafran, no, even in America. When a woman does something that is quite commendable, this is not about competition. This is not about trying to wrestle position with the man. When a woman plays the role, just like in Proverbs chapter 31, that the Bible talks about virtuous women. When a woman lives up to responsibility, to take it upon herself, to fight for the family, to protect the children, to protect the husband, you must commend them. Don't trivialize it and don't act out of prejudice because your mother is not in that group, because your sister, in quote, is not in that group, or your favorite is not in that group. What these women have done is not only Nnamdi Kanu that will enjoy it. It's not only me, Pastor Maxwell, that will enjoy it. It's not only church people. It's not only Ndodenala. It is for our generation and our nation. And that is why you can see somebody like me as a pastor. I am speaking out on daily basis. Not only prayers, not only moral support, actively involved in what I'm doing. They have done very well. Including Chinasa Nworu is a beneficiary of this United Nations judgment. The HDOS is a beneficiary. Even those who are saboteurs, everyone are beneficiaries of this very judgment. Don't trivialize it. We must continue. Let's read again. The working group requires the government of Kenya and Nigeria to take the steps necessary to remedy the situation of Mr. Kanu without delay. As I said before, there is now 2 years delay into this, and bring it into conformity with the relevant international norms. Not only doing it the way you want, not only doing it out of tribalism, out of nepotism, out of segregation, not only doing it because you hate Nnamdi Kanu, not only doing it haphazardly, you must bring it into conformity. It must conform. Whatever you want to do in order to release Nnamdi Kanu, it must conform. You must allow it to conform with the relevant international norms. And if they are to obey this very judgment, it means they will not be talking about to bail Nnamdi Kanu. What they're supposed to do is to release him immediately, because the process by which they brought him to Nigeria to face trial was illegal. It is illegal. It is unconstitutional. It has no legal basis. So the international conformity, in order to remedy this very situation, is to release him unconditionally. That is the international conformity that they are saying in this paragraph 106. That is what they're expected to do, including those set out in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. What they're supposed to do, in conformity with these laws that is listed here, is to release Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally, not to release him on bail. Now, listen very carefully, paragraph 107. Everybody listen. The working group considers that, taking into account all the circumstances of the case, which has been mentioned from paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, down to this paragraph 5 that we started reading, the working group considers that, taking into account all the circumstances of the case, the appropriate remedy, listen to what they said specifically, the appropriate remedy would be for the government of Nigeria to release Mr. Nnamdi Kanu immediately. I'm going to read it again. I want everybody to pay attention. That is the judgment of the United Nations, and it is binding on the Nigerian government and on the Kenyan government. The working group considers that, taking into account all the circumstances of the case, all the law that Nigeria broke, 16 laws, 16, not even 2 or 3, 16, they were busy breaking it. And the judgment is saying, considering it, that they have broken 16 laws, which we read in the paragraph 105, considering it, the appropriate remedy, the only solution in this case is for the government of Nigeria to release Nnamdi Kanu immediately, and for both governments, which is the government of Nigeria and the government of Kenya, to accord him an enforceable right, to compensation and other reparations. This is the judgment of the United Nations. That Kenya to Nigeria, because of how they have held him in solitary confinement for about 2 years now. Because of Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention almost 3 years now. This judgment is about 2 years old. Because of how they have denied him access to good medical care. Because of how they have denied him access to his personal doctors. Because of how they have subjected him to all manner of inhuman and degrading treatment. Because of how they have subjected him to extraordinary rendition instead of extradition. That is what this paragraph 107 is saying. Because of that, they should release him immediately. I hope you are still seeing the screen.
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah, it's visible.
That they should release him immediately, not on bail. In this judgment, United Nations did not say that they should allow Nnamdi Kanu to prove his case. No. They have gone through the case, they have gone through the evidence that was submitted to them, and they now decided to say, looking into all of this, all these circumstances, release him immediately. Don't go and be looking for who will sign surety for him. Don't go and be looking for civil servant, whatever grade, that will sign the bail bond. No. Don't file for bail. Release him immediately. And for both governments to accord him an enforceable right to compensation. Compensation. You must compensate him for holding him in solitary confinement for 3 good years. 3. You must compensate him for allowing him to be with a very deteriorating cardiac situation. His heart is leaking blood. The valve is leaking blood. You must compensate him for not allowing him to change clothes in detention. You must compensate him for all the adjournment upon adjournment upon adjournment, for all the lack of merit of the cases you filed against him, thereby allowing him to waste his useful time, denying his family, his company, his companionship, his care, his support, his role as a father. You must compensate him for not allowing his international attorney, Bruce Fein, access to him as at when requested. You must compensate him for all the blood samples you took on him without showing any result and without providing adequate medical care and not allowing him also to make a choice of his personal decisions. You must compensate him. For calling him a terrorist, you must compensate him. For torturing him in Kenya for 8 days, chaining him to the floor with a chain as if he's a dog or he's a madman, you must compensate him. For beating him up to now his ears are paining him, you must compensate him. For taking away his reading glasses, you must compensate him. For not allowing him to use his talit and his kippah and his Torah, you must compensate him. And the list goes on and on. Not only compensating him, you must also accord him other reparations. Now, not as you want, but in accordance with international law. In accordance with international law. In fact, Nnamdi Kanu should be released from the DSS dungeon in Abuja and Ilonia. The billions is not going to be for his personal, taking care of himself or enjoying himself. He has a lot of responsibility to take care of as the leader of over 70 million Biafrans. And the Biafra Restoration Project needs compensation running into billions in conformity with international laws. Okay? And in the current context of the global coronavirus disease, COVID-19, pandemic, and the threat it calls upon the government of Nigeria urgent action to ensure the immediate unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Immediate unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You saw Bruce Fein on the 26th of February 2024 during the last court appearance of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Some of you saw Bruce Fein on the 26th of February this year. He was instrumental to this very judgment we're seeing now from the United Nations. He was instrumental. And he did not go there empty-handed. This is what Biafrans must understand. Whether Biafrans in the Biafra land, whether Biafrans in Nigeria, whether Biafrans in the diaspora, this is what you must understand. This judgment that was secured on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu and on behalf of Biafrans through Bruce Fein was not secured with an empty hand. Funds were pumped in to make sure that all the financial expenses and responsibilities in the light of this very judgment was met, was taken care of. Who took care of it? These same women that they are attacking today. These same women that they are calling different kind of names. And the people that are calling them all these funny names have not been able to approach this global body, the United Nations. If they had approached them, what was the result? What was the result? The women went with their funds. They sent Bruce Fein alongside the gallant men. They contributed. And some of the people in the Rising Sun, as Madam Bridget has explained, I am not in position to mention the names. They are in position to mention the names. They played their own role, just a few of them. And this judgment was won. And the judgment is release Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally. Let me zoom it that all of them may see it more clearly, more vividly. Now you may see it. That is what UN said. Ensure the immediate release of Mr. Kanu. Immediate, unconditional, immediate, instantly. As at the time that you see this judgment, as at the time you receive this judgment, Nigerian government, immediately act on it. Don't procrastinate. Don't adjourn it. No court sitting, no legal proceedings anymore in Nigeria. Release him immediately and unconditionally. And up until now, they have refused to comply with this very judgment. Now, the interesting part is what I'm going to read next. And with that, I'm going to close and hand over to the moderator, except there is a question that will be asked.
I think the connection is not helping out, Pastor. All right. Okay. All right. Unfortunately, our pastor is in Biafra land, where connection sometimes is a bit shaky. Okay, he's coming back again. I hope he's able to round up.
Back in his network.
Yes.
It
yes,
is network.
Yes,
there is information that is in circulation now that many cables, many network and communication cables were caught in the sea. And they mentioned the names of countries that it affects. Nigeria happened to be one of them. That information was released by Nigerian Communication Corporation. It was released. So network have been so terrible for the past 4 days. I must continue. I'm bringing back the screen and I'm going to summarize very quickly with that. The screen, I hope, is on.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, let us go to paragraph 111. 111, that is what the UN called the follow-up procedure. The follow-up procedure, a follow-up to the judgment. They want to follow up how is the countries responsible applying or implementing or enforcing this judgment. Now, we read, in accordance with paragraph 20 of its method of work, the working group requests the source, which is Bruce Fein, and the government, which are the government of Nigeria and the government of Kenya, to provide it with information on action taken in follow-up to the recommendations made in the present judgment, including number A, whether Mr. Kanu has been released, and if so, on what date? And you know the answer, he has not been released. B, whether compensation or other reparations have been made to Mr. Kanu, which we know it has not been made. C, whether an investigation has been made or conducted into the violation of Mr. Kanu's rights, and if so, the outcome of the investigation. They have not reported to the United Nations. D, whether any legislative amendment or changes in practice have been made to harmonize the laws and practices of Kenya and Nigeria with its international obligations in line with the present judgment. They have not done it. E, whether any other action has been taken to implement the present judgment. No action has been taken to implement it. I know that the moderator will come back to this. Now, in conclusion, because of time, in conclusion, let us go to paragraph 113. The working group requests the source, Bruce Fein, and the government, which is the government of Nigeria, to provide the above mentioned information within 6 months. Within 6 months of the date of transmission of the present judgment opinion, within 6 months. However, the working group reserves the right to take its own action in follow-up to the opinion if the new concerns in relation to the case are brought to its attention. Such action would enable the working group to inform the Human Rights Council of progress and made implementing its recommendations, as well as any failure to take action. Finally, the last paragraph, 114. The working group recalls that the Human Rights Council has encouraged all states to cooperate with the working group and has requested them to take account of its views and, where necessary, to take appropriate steps to remedy the situation of persons arbitrarily deprived of their liberty and to inform the working group of the steps they have taken. Thank you very much. I'm stopping the screen sharing here. Moderator.
Okay, thank you.
In a nutshell, this is what God has used this group to achieve. As I mentioned before, some people that also played their own role, that contributed in one way or the other, both prayers, which our church did for 3 months. There was no service in our church, kept on praying until God answered us, and everyone that we don't even know. A few people that are very, very responsible, committed, who worked very hard to make sure that this judgment is secured. And up until now, Nnamdi Kanu is still in the DSS dungeon in Abuja, Nigeria. And that is why the women are saying, no, we stand on the United Nations judgment for the unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu because of his health. He needs to be flown abroad immediately to take proper care of himself, more especially heart surgery. I will leave it at that. Thank you very much, our viewers, and thank you, the resource persons. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you. Thank you, our pastor. Thank you, Pastor Maxwell, for that explicit review of that UN judgment. So, folks, you heard it from our very own Pastor Maxwell. He have gone through this UN judgment front and back for multiple times. In a nutshell, the UN has already ruled that Nnamdi Kanu, the Nigerian government has no case on him. There's no case on, there's no case against Nnamdi Kanu. United Nations has reviewed the case and have found that what President Nnamdi Kanu agitating for Biafra is within his human rights, and they have no right to keep him in solitary confinement at DSS dungeon. So so President Nnamdi Kanu should be released unconditionally. And Pastor also mentioned a little bit about his current health condition, which is stemming from a lot of torture and abuse he sustained in the hand of the kidnapper between Nigeria and Kenya. And I'm going to call our Dr. Oguma. She did a very detailed explanation in our last special presentation. So if you haven't seen the detail, she's a doctor. So please go back to our website, IPOB Women Media Platform. It's our YouTube channel. You will see the last presentation we did on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's health condition. So please, I would like for you to refer back to that special presentation. You can listen to detail of the presentation we make on there. So without further ado, I will call Dr. Guma to make her presentation and to remind Biafra the reason why we are demanding for unconditional release of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is not guilty of any crime. He has not committed crime, and Nigerian government cannot find any evidence against him, and that's why they're still keeping him in that solitary confinement after multiple courts have defeated him. And most importantly, United Nations has reviewed everything and said that everything he's doing is within his human rights, which Nigeria is a signatory of. So they have no reason and no choice but to release our leader unconditional. Anything else less will not be accepted. So without further ado, please excuse me, I'm very passionate. Without further ado, Dr. Guma, are you ready to make your presentation on the heart diagnosis of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So viewers, our doctor is in a very secluded location. She will not be able to turn on her camera. So please excuse her on that. But she did a presentation in our last special presentation. You can see detail on that. So Dr. Guma, please go ahead. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Madam Moderator, and for all the panelists and our audience, wherever you are watching us from. Thank you so much for your time, for taking time out on a Saturday like this, where you can be doing other things, but you chose to be with us to listen to what we are going to tell you about the unconditional release of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and also his health conditions. And I am Dr. Oguma. I work in primary care, and I also collaborate my care with cardiologists, nephrologists, dermatologists, rheumatologists, name it, all the specialists. I consult with them, and through their consultation, I make the medical decision and treatment plan. Again, I thank you, and I thank our the man of God in our midst, our pastor, that had been a sort of prophet to us, seeing things that we are not able to see with our physical eye, and spiritually directing us. I thank you, and I thank all the beautiful women. When I say beautiful, beautiful in the heart, and that I work within this group. I appreciate you, and I love and I appreciate being part of this group. Without wasting more of your time, the moderator had said about a previous presentation, so I would refer you to check up this. It was aired, if I'm not mistaken, January 28th. It was on a Saturday. Go to IPOB Biafran Women Media House, and you can see in detail my presentation regarding Onyendu's heart condition. Again, today I will review it, and without wasting much of your time, let's go back to talking about what our pastor said about Onyendu being unhealthy and being kept in the dungeon. Yes, everybody have heard about Onyendu's being sick, to the extent that we don't know the detail unless you have that opportunity to understand what exactly is going on. He has a heart condition, and that heart condition has to do with his valve, mainly one of the valve that is responsible for closing and opening for blood to come and to the large vessel, which is the left ventricle, and also to the other parts of the body. I did review in that presentation that we have four types of valves, four valves that control blood flow and nutrients to the rest of the body and back to the heart. And I want you to visualize those valves as doors that open and close for you to have an entrance into the major rooms in your homes. So, and we have four chambers, the upper and the left chambers, atrium and ventricles. And I want us to pay particular attention to the left ventricle, because that is where this aortic valve we're talking about, that Onyendu's heart condition is related to. So this valve is not closing tightly, okay? And because it's not closing the way it's supposed to snap close, each time the heart contracts and beats, it leaks blood into the left ventricle, which is that large chamber of the heart. And on the other hand too, the same valve is so thickened and narrowed. So the first one I told you about, the valve leaking, is called regurgitation of that aortic valve. And also the same aortic valve is so thick and it has narrowed. It's no longer as elastic as it's supposed to be for blood to come in and for that left ventricle to, push the blood and nutrients out to the other rest of the body. That is what Onyendu primary condition is right now. As a result, fluid is now beginning to accumulate around his lungs, making him begin, which leads to a heart condition called congestive heart failure. That is what is going on with Onyendu. And you know now that he has chest pain. We all know that he has shortness of breath, or what we call dyspnea, okay? Inability for his lungs to expand and relax. Taking deep breath in and out is a difficult thing for him. We've also heard about him having syncope and collapse. We've also heard about him being fatigued because the heart is no longer as strong as it was previously. And without treatment, my fellow Biafrans, without treatment, appropriate treatment, any patient that is suffering from aortic regurgitation, you only have 1 to 2 years to live. It is surprising to me as a medical person that Onyendu is still alive today with little or no treatment. If it's not the grace of God and people in this group standing in the gap, spiritually praying for God to continue to fortify him with spiritual strength, for God to continue to preserve him so that he will not labor in vain, I don't know what would be his fate today. Yes, the information that we had, that we reviewed before we made that previous presentation, it stated there the kind of treatment he had received in the past, or he is receiving. To me, as a medical personnel, that is a substandard treatment. One of the potential complications for this heart condition is called arrhythmia, cardiac arrhythmia, okay? And also, yes, exactly, it's called cardiac arrhythmia. Also, a fib, whereby because that valve is no longer, tight. Anytime your blood pumps, you'll be flickering. And that can cause a major myocardial infarction or stroke. So Onyendu supposed to be in a blood thinner that will help to make sure that those blood will not clot. The information available to us, I did not see him taking any blood thinner to begin with. Another thing is this, that one thing that could cause your aortic valve to regurg would be a trauma trauma to the chest area. Both of us, we know, all of us here will agree or have heard that he was traumatized and tortured in Kenya. The extent of which you and I do not know. Was there a trauma to his chest area? Possibly. And that could also be a risk factor for aortic rigor. And untreated high blood pressure that is not well managed can also result to congestive heart failure. And that congestive heart failure would lead to what we call pulmonary hypertension. So high blood pressure in the pulmonary artery, which I think now Onyendu might have. Looking at this picture that is visible to you all in this screen, when you have pulmonary arterial hypertension pressure, it can cause what we call ascites, which is accumulation of fluid in the abdominal cavity. And even with that, you are not able to have a very good breathing outcome. You will be short of breath. You will be tired easily. You will be having fatigue. So this picture, looking at it, knowing what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu looked like prior, does it not look to you that there's some sort of abdominal distension or abdominal enlargement going on? This is a picture, and using this picture to assess him as a medical person, I would think that this abdomen is enlarged. And we know that he doesn't have any liver cirrhosis, which will be another thing that could cause abdominal ascites. We have not heard about his liver. We've heard about his heart, and also a reflux disease. I will talk about that one in a nutshell before I tell you why I think as a medical personnel that Onyendu needs to be released urgently to take care of his heart condition. He needs a heart replacement or repair. The other day, I had opportunity to see a patient that had the same thing that Onyendu had. Guess what? Even with his replacement of the valve, he is still being monitored under a cardiology. His blood is being checked so that his blood will remain thin and not thick to cause him to have a stroke. Even with his replaced valve, he's still being monitored by a specialist, a cardiologist, let alone somebody that has not been treated with repair or replaced valve. What do you think is going to be going on right now with this man as you're looking at him on this screen? So, Nigeria government should, as a matter of urgency, abide and implement the UN judgment. Release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally, not on bail, so that he can seek treatment. The lifespan is actually 1 to 2 years. How long has he been there? The more they keep him, the more it's going to be progressively worse. So well-meaning Biafran should be, wherever you are, campaigning and speaking up. We like patients to speak up. Since Onyendu cannot speak up where he is, that is why this women group have continued to speak up on his behalf. Even though we don't come out to make noise on social media, we've been speaking out on his behalf, and the results are showing. I want to touch on the H. pylori, which Onyendu also have. This H. pylori could also constitute to him having abdominal issues, including abdominal distension. Has he been treated for it adequately? Perhaps you and I would not know. Has he been retested after treatment to make sure that this bacteria in his GI is cleared? We don't know. But one thing I want to assure Biafrans today is that H. pylori, if left untreated, can cause you to have what we call gastritis, inflammation of the GI lining. And from that, someone can develop stomach cancer. So it is adequately required that he be freed unconditionally to go and seek for medical treatment. And I want to also touch on the fact that I am not speaking of trauma based on just what I know. I have articles that support about trauma to the chest. The first article was written by a cardiologist in London, I believe. And let me get his name right here. Okay, this is by cardiologist named J. Give me 1 second, let me get to this. All right, this was published in British Heart Journal by J.F. Obadiah and E. Tatro and M. David. And the most recent one is actually written here by a cardiologist, Dr. Stanley S. Wang. He is a clinical cardiologist in Austin, Texas. That is who wrote about trauma to the chest as a risk factor of aortic regurgitation. And this article is as brand new as 2021, December 7th. So the trauma, the torture in Kenya could be as a result of what's going on now with his aortic valve. I strongly recommend that Onyendu should be released as urgent as he calls for him to get the adequate treatment. Aortic valve replacement is the choice. It could also be repaired, but if you repair it, whether you replace it, he is also going to be monitored by a cardiologist. He will go through cardiac rehab for at least 6 to 12 weeks. So my fellow Biafrans, let us champion our goal toward the release of this great man. If you know what is going on with him, based on my knowledge, I can understand that there is no other way to improve his symptoms. Give him that relief to breathe adequately. Give him that relief so that he can have the strength he needs, the energy. Minimize his complication of getting a stroke or a myocardial infarction, heart attack. The time is now. Waiting tomorrow might be too late. I do ask on behalf of the women here and our spiritual director, our chaplain, that we speak with one voice that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu should be released, not on bail, but unconditionally to attend his medical needs. And I want to use this opportunity also to invite you out there listening to us. This is the only group that have a spiritual director, leader that is there every week to lead us, not only through physical things, but spiritually, praying in the gap, because the spiritual controls the physical. And these are a group of women. When you hear about virtuous women, it is what we are. So if you are out there listening to us today, whether you are a man or a woman, and you know you have integrity, and you know you have love for freedom, and you know that you fear God, and you know you obey God, and you know you are not a saboteur, and you know you are honest, and you know you're dedicated and you are a hardworking individual, what then are you waiting for to join this group? The remnant, the only group that have not divided into how many pieces since Onyendu was renditioned. We've been speaking one voice. You don't hear from us all the time because we're not out there to display. We get it done. Come today. Do not delay to join us so that together, with your talent, your skill, your knowledge, we can get to that our promised land that Onyendu had been talking about, that Ojukwu talked about, the actualization of Biafra. That home, which we're all looking forward. Whatever we're doing today is for our own good, for our children, and for our own children good. My fellow Biafrans, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to present this to you. Our Onyendu is sick, he is ill, and he needs the correct and adequate treatment. Thank you so much, and may God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Guma. Before you leave, I have about 2 or 3 questions, if you don't mind, just to help our people to gain a clear understanding of what we're trying to present regarding our leaders' health. In that DSS dungeon where he's currently is, do you think that our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, is getting an adequate meal that can even help to sustain somebody with that kind of medical issues? What's your opinion on that? And I have a follow-up question after that.
Honestly speaking, I don't know, and I hope he is, because he's supposed to be on at least cardiac diet, foods that are low on sodium, especially because high sodium will also intensify his high blood pressure. And regarding the pulmonary artery hypertension that I mentioned, and fluid around the lung, the CHF, he should also be on furosemide. And that furosemide helps to pull fluid out. But when fluid is pulled out, it would also be pulled with potassium, which is also a very good electrolyte needed for his heart to pump effectively. How are they replacing that potassium? Is he getting some food that are rich on potassium? I don't know. I wouldn't know. So, and even if they are giving him potassium supplement, are they adequately monitoring his labs to check his potassium level? I don't know that. I hope I've answered this particular question.
Yes, I hope our people are understanding the reason why we're demanding for unconditional release. And one of the so one of the reasons why IPOB women, if you some of you might have seen our notice circulating in the social media from IPOB women, also endorsed by our gallant men who are the Rising Sun group, that we do not support Nnamdi Kanu to be released on bail. And one of the reasons, Dr. Oguma, is that like you have, I believe you have narrated very well on your last presentation on his health, that Nigeria does not have the facility to treat our leader, to address the heart condition of our leader. Most of the politicians, when they have similar condition, they are flown abroad to take care of it. So now, if he is released on bail with strict condition, will our leader still be able to fly abroad to address his his heart condition? That and do you think that I mean, this is one of the reasons why we're so adamant about unconditional release, and we stand on that because of this heart condition. So, doctor, do you think that Nigerian hospitals are equipped to handle this level of this diagnosis that you just talked about? Do you think they are equipped to handle that kind of health condition, especially issue with heart? And I believe in your last presentation, you stated that once the surgery is conducted, another 6 weeks or more is needed to monitor the patient and to ensure that the surgery went well. Can you talk more? I don't know if I confuse you.
You said the right thing. I would say cardiac rehab. Okay, so where there will be a potential I would call post-intervention treatment, where he is going to be going to get therapy so that his muscles and the ligament will, to improve the weakness of that the heart muscle that has been so weakened by the condition that he had been suffering from. So there are gonna be some constant 2 to 3 weeks treatment, exercise that will enable the heart to go back to its previous condition before the surgical intervention and even before the aortic leaking and backing up of fluid and blood to the left ventricle. So rehab is an opportunity for you to rehabilitate, to get back to where you were before the illness. To answer your question, if I live in Nigeria, or if my loved one live, it's going through this kind of health condition, personally, I would not like myself, to be treated in a facility that is substandard and not able to handle the potential complication that can come from the surgery and also the post-surgical intervention treatment. It would not be something that I would recommend for me or for my loved one. I don't know if I answered that question.
Yeah, I think you have answered, and not only because heart is an organ that is very, very complicated. Well, I'm not a medical professional, but I can perceive because it's where the heart is pumping blood. So with that level, with that sensitivity, it's not something that can be left in hand of people that are working in a substandard medical environment. Hospital environment. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, let me put it this way. Why would politicians and rich individuals, why do they like to fly out of the country to receive medical treatment? Why do they do that? Is it not for them to get the best care? Because they believe that the care they're going to get in a local facility might not be adequate to treat what they have. No doubt, I would recommend seriously that my loved one or anybody I care about not get such a treatment intervention in a place that is not well equipped to handle that. Does Nigerian government have a place for that? I don't know. I haven't made the research yet, but I doubt if they do. Why would people fly abroad for medical treatment?
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I would like to give our presenter opportunity to, is there any question you guys would like to ask Dr. Guma regarding this, our leader's health before we move to the next question? Anybody has any question for her?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Pastor.
Yes, Dr. Guma, please, can you tell us the danger of the further delay in the release of Nnamdi Kanu for the heart surgery? Can you tell us the danger if there are more delay?
Yes, remember what I told you about having a fib, atrial fibrillation, or atrial flutter. So that is very, very, very dangerous. It can actually result in a massive heart attack and or stroke. So once the blood is clotted, and God forbid if it travels to the lungs, what happens? That's pulmonary embolism, and very, very rare would people survive pulmonary embolism.
Thank you. Any other presenter? Madam Helen, do you have a question?
Well, I don't have a question per se, but I would like to, people, maybe especially those who are not in the medical field, especially at home, what Dr. Uguma has said is, this is not a disease that you send Nnamdi Kanu home and tell him to drink Akamu and Lucozade. No. This is serious. No, you don't discharge him, go and drink your Akamu and Lucozade and come see me in 2 months. This is life-threatening. This is life-threatening. We are talking, when this happened, even in our parts with advanced medical care, we are talking you lasting, you have maybe 10 to 45 minutes to fight for your life under intense medical intervention. That is what we're talking here. The hand of God is on him, quite all right. But my Igbo people say, Onya nazo nazo onwe, and now that he can't do for himself, I wanazo Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Helen.
Yeah.
Sister Vivian,
one other thing I will add is Dr. Guma have mentioned it, but I also want our viewers and Biafrans to know that the complications are already setting in. And once it is there and nothing is being done about it, which we know very well, there's no doubt. Anybody who is telling you that he's getting treatment is just deceiving us, because he is just getting symptomatic treatment. The actual treatment and if I would say cure or management for this illness is nothing but to repair the defective valve. Because
Madam Bridget, not only repairing, repair and or replace.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. Any other treatment is just a conservative and symptomatic treatment that will just try to minimize the symptom. And as much delay sets in, we do not know, God forbid, what we are into and what it will result to. That's just what I want to add. And thank you so much, Dr. Guma, for letting us know about all this. It's left for our viewers to carry this on and then spread the gospel and set the alarm in the social media. This is the time to go out in the social media and talk about our leaders' health. No longer the time to fight. We have fought from the beginning of his rendition till now, is fighting each other and blackmailing. Now, this is the time to talk about our leaders' health for the Nigerian government to release him so that he can go and get treatment. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I believe our sister Vivian has a question for Dr. Guma. Vivian, go ahead, please.
Yes, correct. So anybody can chime in, though. I think it's just like an open question. I just wanted to know, because now that we're looking at, based on what Dr. Guma has shared, in terms of the life-threatening health conditions of Unyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and then considering the fact that the court system in Nigeria is also considering releasing him on bail, which is what we're kicking against. What we're kicking against. We want him to be released unconditionally based on the UN judgment, right? My question towards his health: what will be the consequences? Maybe you can shed more light. What will be the consequences of him being treated if he was released on bail versus if he was released unconditionally? I know you have mentioned some part of it, but holistically, what are we expected to assume or see when he's released on bail with this kind of level of serious health condition that he has?
If I may understand what you're asking me, I think Madam Bridget had just said something about you know, why we are kicking against bail release. So the last time he was released, I think he was given restriction. And if you're talking about bail right now, you and I don't know what kind of restriction will be that is going to be attached to the bail. Is it going to even allow him access to a healthcare? A healthcare, if let's say he is released and he said, you are not going to be traveling to these places, and he has to go get this treatment from a place that is very far from the covered area. What is he gonna do? Madam Bridget has said it all. We are sick and tired of symptomatic treatment. You cannot be treating the symptoms without treating the underlying etiology, the underlying cause of this. So if I'm giving you medicine because, you know, you are having chest pain, I'm not doing you any good. It is my responsibility to find out the reason why you are having chest pain. Then go after that etiology, the root cause, and your chest pain will go away. So we are aware that he is having shortness of breath, dyspnea, he's having some swelling, you know, noticeable, this last one on the abdominal cavity. I believe now if you go there and press on that abdomen, you can see that he will have facial grimacing, pain. So for how long are we going to treat the symptoms without going back and treating the underlying cause? For instance, a patient that has cancer and is having blood loss, the patient is having fatigue, tiredness. You want to tell me you will go back and be infusing the person with blood without treating the underlying cause of the blood loss, which is cancer? So the recommendation is to treat the aortic valve and aortic stenosis to improve his symptoms, to stop him from having shortness of breath, to stop him from being at risk for sudden heart attack and or stroke, to improve his fatigue, to stop him from having syncope and collapse. Because the symptomatic treatment is not gonna do anything. As his symptoms progresses, the treatment will no longer be effective. So it is very important to treat the etiology of the disease to improve the patient's outcome. I hope I've answered the question for you.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I believe you have.
Yes,
Thank
you did.
You so much.
Yes, that was really interesting, because you know, we just needed to have more information about the consequences of releasing Nnamdi Kanu on bail and the threat to his life. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Sure, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Guma, for that presentation. Again, Biafrans, Dr. Guma did a detailed presentation on our last special broadcast where he showed you the heart muscles, the way the blood is pumping, and he compared what Onyinye's currently heart condition looks like and an actual healthy heart. So please go to our media, our YouTube channel or our Facebook, IPOB Biafran Media House. Thank you. And the next question is going to be directed towards our panelists. I'm going to go to Madam Helen, Sister Vivian, then Madam Bridget will round up. You know, so this we are kicking against bail release for Onyendu. And we have detailed reasons why we have fear about him being released. With a potential very restrictive bail condition that can interfere with him getting medical treatment that he's in desperate need. But I want to ask my panelists, do you believe that this unconditional release is being well propagated by the lawyers that currently represent Mazen Nnamdi Kanu? Madam Helen, I'm going to come to you first. What is your opinion? And the follow-up question to that is that I thought that the UN judgment that that our pastor just brilliantly narrated insisted that our leaders should be released unconditionally. So, what do you believe that this too that is being propagated in the court system, in the court proceeding right now? Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. The simple answer to that is no. We have to understand that the United Nations judgment on extraordinary rendition of Mazi is a landmark judgment in that it is the first time in history that it has passed such judgment in favor of a Biafran against the Nigerian government. But sadly, it was under-celebrated, it was under-reported by Biafrans. I won't so much blame the Biafrans because they were not aware of it, because it received a muted response by, if I dare to say, the IPOB leadership. Their response was muted, and sometimes when you hear it, it's in passing, you know, flippantly mentioned, and not to be a Monday morning quarterback, but the then defense attorneys were expected to trumpet this judgment to all corners of Nigeria and her judicial system, but there was very little mention of it. You would think, you know, this is a big weapon that was handed to them, you know, by the United Nations, but it was hidden under the bushel, you know. So not many of our people are aware of it, and it literally saved Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's life from execution in the hands of Nigerian government. Excuse me, because what it did, it brought their misdeeds to light into the international arena, so they can no longer kill him in secret, you see. So no, that it was not utilized to its fullest potential at all. Thank you.
Okay. And next, Sister Vivian, do you think that the unconditional release and UN judgment is being propagated enough in this current court proceeding in Nigeria? I want your take on it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Madam Moderator, Madam Beatrice. That's a very good question. You know, when you look at this UN judgment that Pastor Maxwell Nahue just, you know, read to us in its totality and holistically, it will worry you. It will really deeply worry you why we did not hear much about this wonderful, unique, successful achievement, you know, among us in the news. Madam Helen has mentioned, you know, with the court system, there was so much deafening coming from there, where we expected, you know, that these that our lawyers, especially those that are representing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, will be, you know, excited to bring such information to the public, and this is why. UN judgment is not, you know, one of those judgments that, you know, like our pastor said, something you pick from the streets, is not on a seller's markets item listed. This is unique. This is fantastic. This is a great news. This is a wonderful achievement, driven by God Almighty himself to happen. And, you know, it was worrisome that it was sandwiched to the point where there was no mention of it. We expected more from the lawyers, and to be frank with you. We wanted to hear more. We wanted them to shed more light on that, because it is with that judgment that the government, you know, Nigerian government, will be able to take that case very seriously, especially knowing that they went against the international laws in renditioning, you know, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But that wasn't mentioned. And another thing that worried us the most is the fact that UN judgment is in the public domain. So nobody is going to say, oh, I don't have access to it, or maybe they release this to a special group of people. No, this judgment is in the public domain. So the lawyers had access to it. If they really wanted to pull it and use it and, you know, share it and create awareness around it for, you know, every average Joe out there who is either a Biafran or not Biafran, who is also interested in this case and what's going on with, you know, Nnamdi Kanu, our illustrious son, you know, to know exactly what the judgment is all about. I don't think it was well covered. I don't think it was given proper attention. I don't think it was celebrated even amongst the people that is from, you know, Biafra. And I'm not sure that the lawyers acted like they celebrated this achievement. Like Madam Bridget said earlier, this achievement is not just for Nnamdi Kanu, but is for all of us, including the lawyers themselves. Yes, entire Biafran. This is huge. This is a big success that God used the IPOB Women USA and the wonderful Rising Sun, you know, gallant men, you know, with pastors' prayers and everybody that involved, wherever they are, praying for us to even be able to get an attention from the UN and for them to be able to sit together, deliberate on an issue, looked at the case from when Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, rendition, and how he was tortured down to, you know, Nigeria. Until date, he's been put in a dungeon and he's now sick, you know, with a health debilitating, you know, conditions. And to not propagate it, even though they're representing him, I think is very worrisome. On the other hand, though, another thing I want to mention is using our platforms to also share this message, right? And this issue happened. I went ahead and I also wanted to know, you know, I Googled Radio Biafra. I know what it is, you know, we are all members of, you know, this wonderful group. I just wanted to know what one of their goals, like what is it supposed to be? What does it represent? And from what I got, Radio Biafra actually is supposed to be an online radio station to broadcast messages related to Biafrans worldwide. But I'm not sure. I don't know. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure that that platform was used to disseminate this UN judgment information, which is fantastic. Holistically to the people of Biafra. I never heard that. Oh, correct. Thank you for confirming that. Another thing is, and the reason why this is very important, because I'll tell you,
Sister Vivian, sorry to cut you off. You continue with your statement. I just want you to repeat the purpose of Radio Biafra as you Googled it from Google. Repeat what it says so that Biafrans can understand.
Correct.
Is this radio station being used for what it was established for currently?
Okay.
Okay, please.
Yeah, thank you. So it says to us to further the cause of the IPOB vision, which is part of this vision will surprise you, right? It's very interesting. I would like to just mention a few. It says it's sanctity of life, dignity as a people, individual rights and liberties to be recognized and protected, and the rule of law to be paramount amongst us, and for us to be able to answer equal before the law, and to stand prideful, and in place among the Committee of Nations. And for that, Radio Biafra is supposed to help, you know, support this vision for which IPOB is founded and is in the public domain, and to also further and operate an online radio station that broadcasts messages related to Biafra's independence and the pursuit of self-determination. Nnamdi Kanu, a prominent figure within the movement, served as both the director of Radio Biafra and Biafra TV. But like I was saying, I did not hear any mention.
So from sister, I just want to make one comment. So from what you I never Googled it, so that was brilliant for you to Google. So for what you just said, it looks like currently the people managing Radio Biafra don't have a clue what the radio was established for.
I mean, it's in the public domain. It's because I'm very, as a participant, I'm very surprised that such kind of information will be concealed away from a platform like that. That was actually formed by
that definition. You're going to circulate that definition.
It is now used in the opposite direction.
Yeah, to be gossiping. Gossiping and calling people names. So I think we're going to post that so that maybe they haven't read it, maybe they never Googled it. We're going to maybe make it available to them so they can actually know that their job description, they are not they're not following it, you know what I mean? So here in US, when you don't when you don't follow your job description, that's a ground for your dismissal, right? Am I
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And
All
then
right.
to also add to that, Madam Moderator, it says the full vision. It says it's our conviction that a sovereign, independent Biafran nation will be the crystallization of the cherished hope and aspiration of people who see in the establishment of this territory the last hope for peace and security. But above all, at last, hope for the survival of a people whose existence is under great threat of extinction.
Okay.
We, the indigenous people of Biafra, made a deliberate decision and choice and adopted a non-violent methodology in the pursuit of our ultimate goal of an independent and sovereign Biafran nation. Non-violent, it's deliberate, it's a choice that was made to be non-violent, right? And Radio Biafra is supposed to help us carry this message and remind the people every time they are there about this conviction and this wonderful choice that we made to be a people that are not violent, but also controlled by a leader called Nnamdi Kanu. That was not done. I never heard that. And that was why I put it open there. Another thing that I also noticed is social media. Madam Bridget, I want to thank you. You are a woman of wisdom. You have, I don't even know how to describe you with your team. You have stood the test of time. And, we know when God looks for people to use, especially when we read the story of in the Bible, he's looking for the men and women that their hearts are open for him to use as a channel and as a vessel. Pastor Maxwell, Madam Bridget, Sister Beatrice, Madam Helen, and a whole bunch of you, Madam Adana, Madam Adako. There are lots of you. I may not know all your names to start mentioning, but God bless all of you. You know why? Madam Bridget, when you heard that Nnamdi Kanu was renditioned, I'll not forget the day you cried, and everybody cried. Even Pastor, we're all crying here praying. You swung into action. One of the things that you did after prayers, you called Pastor to come and pray. And after that, you asked every woman to use their platform for over 1,000 days, continuously non-stop. Everybody using their platform, both owned and earned social media platform, especially Twitter, to tweet, to remind the public and the Nigerian government about the UN incredible decision and judgment that Nnamdi Kanu should be released within 6 months unconditionally. You did that, you monitored that, and you made sure that everybody achieved that. I want to thank you for that. I expected, as Biafrans, to be able, for Biafrans that have this kind of platform, I keep going back to Radio Biafra. I wish they had helped and supported this, incredible decision of the UN and the judgment to help just raise awareness and expose it more for the public that didn't really know Nnamdi Kanu or what Biafra is all about. That is a non-violent movement that really just wants, the secession of their people because of the fact that they are being, threatened. And we just read that in terms of extinction. I didn't get that. I didn't get that support. All I got was more of criticism, which I don't think will help us. And this is why I'm going to mention a few things and I will stop. When you look at situations like this, you can easily pinpoint to a few things or reasons that might be happening behind the scenes. I would like to mention some for us if there's I won't take much of our time. Just 1 second. I just want to pull that up because this is very interesting, and I think we need to listen to this this information. First of all, we believe that the message was not propagated because we know that 90% of Biafrans go to Radio Biafra to listen to informations like this. We did not hear it from that platform, and we're not sure it was encouraged. And on the other hand, there's something they also call low-key hating. Low-key hating will happen, for example, let me use the one that everybody know about, which is in the case of Joseph in the Bible, when he mentioned his future success to his siblings, right? And not knowing what was going on their minds, that it did not, create any kind of impression or positive impression about him, and decided to go, of course, we know the rest of the history, right? That is what they call low-key hating. There's another one that is called narcissism. Narcissism will be what an average Joe that is not interested in hearing about somebody's success would say to themselves, to not want to hear and say, oh, okay, well, this is a group of women that could achieve this milestone. Why would I want to be interested in, propagating or sharing this information since I am not part of it? So what do? They want to kill that story. Another part I'd like to mention is the story of Jesus Christ in the Bible being the chief cornerstone. He was rejected. They counted him as nothing. And Madam Bridget just also played to us one of the conversation or communication, or I would say release or information that was coming from China Sanworo about calling women names, even though he heard about this achievement. Jesus Christ was criticized and he became the chief cornerstone. And I think based on that criticism, of the women, they still went ahead. God still used them to achieve such a milestone. And I think that should have been commended. I think that should have resonated with a lot of people. And I can tell you, an average Biafran on the street does not know that even after the UN judgment, that there is also a follow-up procedure to the point where the UN working group is interested to find out whether Nnamdi Kanu has been released based on what Pastor read to us. They also are not aware that the UN judgment and the working group is interested as a follow-up to know whether Nnamdi Kanu has been compensated or reparated for all the inconveniences meted to him. They are also interested to come into this situation if, in the case that Nigerian government cannot manage it, they are ready to even render their own assistance to that point. But this was by our own people that we believe are leaders, that we look up to. They ignored all these important messages and this milestone achievement. I just wanted to call it out. I think it was wrong. I think that we can do better. I think we should be able to embrace success. And I think that whoever cherishes and, helps to share success stories will always, most times, gain success stories themselves. So that's what I wanted to share about that.
Oh,
thank you.
wow. Thank
you very
my
much.
sister.
If you don't mind, if I can just give a short few sentences.
Madam Bridget, I'm coming to you next, so you can. I'm coming to you next.
Okay.
Okay. So
okay.
there's a former
right.
in terms of Radio Biafra, there's this famous quote that says, "When a purpose of thing is not knowing, abuse is inevitable." So if the people running it, I don't know the purpose of it, they will abuse it. Is it safe to say that? So, Madam Bridget, so I'm going to come to you for to conclude this particular question that we're discussing right now before we move on to our last question. Thank you. Go ahead, Madam Bridget.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Vivian. I think she is the youngest in our group. But she has just enlightened us so much with the technical knowledge as a young brain. Thank you so much for Googling all that. In fact, when I think of what the leadership did and the impacts and the results it has, it's so emotional for me. It just makes me cry. And that is the reason why I couldn't take it after hearing China Sanworo saying all this. It's just like the story in the Bible where Jesus Christ was crying so bitterly for Jerusalem and was saying, "Jerusalem, Jerusalem, I'm not good with quoting, but I remember stories." What he was saying there was, it's a pity that you did not know what leads to your redemption and to your, I would say redemption mainly, to your deliverance. How you rejected the opportunity for your deliverance. Our people completely rejected the opportunity that was given to them for their deliverance.
If you wouldn't mind, that story is in the book of Luke chapter 19 verse 32. Okay. Sorry, Luke chapter 19 verse 42. That was when Jesus was crying over Jerusalem, that Jerusalem didn't know that today is the day of her visitation. It was hidden from her, And as a result of that, he placed a curse on Jerusalem. Luke 19:42.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's why we have a man of God with us. So that was actually what happened. It was like God threw manna from heaven for the Biafrans, and we smashed it. Well, there isn't much. We, the women, we have done the best we can, and we were looking up to them. And you know what happened? Immediately, Bruce sent that UN judgment to me. Do you know the first person I sent it to? Chike Doziem. I forwarded it to him. That is a sign that he was the first person I sent it to up until today. So they will not say that they don't know about it. They knew very well about it. They knew what will lead to our salvation. They knew what will lead to Onyendu being released unconditionally. They knew why the reason Bell will never come close to the legal proceedings of Onyendu. But they purposely rejected it. It's a pity. But God in heaven let him be the judge. That is the reason why, if Chinasa Nworu ever come out to say something, you are coming out to the radio to blame the women. But you completely disregard your responsibility. If you are claiming that you are working for the release of Onyendu, you completely smashed and swept the UN judgment under the table. Never said anything about it. And now we are coming out to blame the same people who struggled for it. Enwekwara ihe a na-agwa mmadụ, enwekwara ihe a na-agwa nwaanyị si ya gwala di ya. Chinasa nwere enwekwara ihe ị ga-agwa ụmụ nwaanyị a si ha mechie ọnụ. Okay, if we, the Biafrans, we are given this opportunity and we refused to make use of it, what do you expect the Nigerian government to do with it? What in the world if we refuse to embrace it and then we are expecting them to make use of it? You know what they did? They said to them, oh, you know what? You know their usual way of their tool, just like one man. I am not the one saying it. There is a post that is going around whereby a man is talking about the tool that the Fulanis use is what? Takia and intimidation. So they made the lawyers know that United Nations judgment, and they made it known to us that the United Nations judgment, that Nigeria is not civilized enough to make use of it. That's a takia. That's a big high-term takia there. And what do you want them to do? Since the leadership rejected it, the Biafrans themselves rejected it, then who do you want to obey it? They made out a way to get away from it. And today we are talking about Bell. Have you seen this type of wicked, where people are being wicked to themselves? And then you have a mouth to come and talk about the women. I don't know if you have any other question for me, because it's just too much. I'm having headache now when I remember what they did with that UN judgment. Go to Chike Doziem email that the very first day we received this thing, I forwarded it to him so that they will not say that they don't have it. Ever since then, has he done anything about it? No. Will he say that he don't have it? He has it. Umwai, Ijiogu, Nofo, Jidenda.
Yes.
So let them not annoy us anymore. They should not be annoying us again, please. Since they don't know the use of that Radio Biafra, they are there to deceive our people. In one of his broadcasts, all he was saying is, and they thought that they can destroy this IPOB. They thought that they can. IPOB is already hijacked by enemies. You are saying destroy. You, the DOS, you destroyed IPOB, and others have hijacked it. You destroyed the opportunity we have to release Onyendu unconditionally. You destroyed the opportunity that Biafran has to be delivered. And you have the mouth to come out and talk. Please.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Bridget. And I will also come back to you for our final you and Madam Helen. I just wanted to make a distinction. You said that our people rejected it. I think for the most part, our people did not hear about it because the leadership did not propagate it. Because I think Biafrans, if they know that such thing exists and they understand the magnitude of this UN judgment, I think they will all rally around it. But unfortunately, the leadership in question did not know their responsibility, unfortunately. And this is where we are today. And it's very unfortunate for them to come out and call it, try to drag our name to the mud. So I will proceed now to our final question of the day. That is this famous Fulani tool they call Taki and intimidation. They have it looks like they have employed it in this Nnamdi Kanu court proceeding. So Madam Helen, I'm going to come to you. Do you have any contribution in this? And then after that, Madam Bridget, you will take over and explain to us. All right, Madam Helen, please go ahead.
Yes. So Madam Bridget, no more headache, please. So we can finish. So yes, this concept of takia, some people know about it, but for the benefit of those who don't, I kind of went and dug into it a little bit. It's actually an Arabic word. It's a concept in Islam, and get this, deceit is permissible, deceit and lying. So there are like 3 criterias for this deceit, for where a person can apply this deceit. That is 1, during war. 2, reconciliation, especially between spouses in order to promote peace and harmony in the family. And the 3rd one is for self-preservation when a person is facing death. So they call it hadiths, like instructions given by the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad. So now if you look at it, it's broad, so that its application is really subject to the interpretation of the person who wants to take care of you. So for me as a Biafran person, the liberation of my homeland is just. But for a Fulani from Mauritania or Niger who wants to take over my fatherland, you see, my fight to preserve my heritage is a threat to their existence. So Takia is allowed for them to deceive, to cheat, in order to stop me from taking what is rightfully mine. So that is what you're seeing, in their dealings with us. So as Madam Bridget touched on it briefly. You talk about Takia in the application of the United Nations ruling, right? So the pastor has enumerated, beautifully what is expected of the Nigerian government. And the Nigerian government is saying that they cannot implement this because they are not developed enough. What has development and technology has to do with simply release a person and pay him money. That is as primitive as judgments go, right? You don't need technology. It's that simple. Release him and pay him for pain and suffering. I mean, human beings traded by barter hundreds, thousands of years ago. You don't need to be developed to implement that, but that is their own take. But yet, these same people are signatories to the United Nations as a group, and they are seeking a seat, right? They're seeking to have a seat on the United Nations Security Council. But you are not, you are not advanced enough, but you are seeking to have a seat. Why don't you then exclude yourself? That is Takia right there. And you talk of intimidation. Yes. After Maazi was acquitted, the appellate court discharged him, right? Shortly after that, one of the judges that was presiding that case, her husband was assassinated. And I think within 2 days, the judges that presided the case were basically ordered by the executive to vacate their positions, and who knows where they were placed. That is abuse of power. You see, that is what we are talking about, intimidation. So when you see family members being killed, and I know some of our attorneys too, for a leader, they suffered greatly. When you see these things, what do? People dodge. People stay away from this case. People don't want to speak out. People will give judgment in favor of the executive branch of Nigerian government so that they can stay alive another day. That is what this takia and deception is. And unfortunately, our people have been cowed to bow to it. But thank God, very few voices are speaking up. And we're not going to mention their names. Very few voices are bold enough to speak up. And I thank you very much. I think Madam Bridget might want to add something to this takia. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Helen, thank you. Thank you so much. Madam Bridget, take you from there and unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about the other takia that we have that is going rendition. It's an international crime, right? Whether you like it or not, it's an international crime. It's like getting a paper that is white. This is white, right? You can't change this paper. You can't say all of us are looking at this paper is white. There is no way you can tell us that this paper is black. So since there is no way you can tell us that this paper that we are looking at, it is white, so also you cannot change that the rendition is not an international crime. It remains in the book that Nigeria committed an international crime against Nnamdi Kanu. And as long as they committed this international crime against Nnamdi Kanu, they do not have the right to judge him again. But in order to get away from it, they have another takia, that the rendition is not an international crime, rather it's a civil crime. Do you see the takia? And again, because they are the one with the guns and the bullets and everything, the whole Nigeria has to believe in order, just like my sister said, in order to be alive tomorrow. So that is why they are changing everything now to bail. Because number one, they know that Nnamdi Kanu overqualifies to be released unconditionally. But they made sure that that word unconditionally will never be added in his court proceedings. Instead, they use a takia to cancel all those points and evidence that we release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally. Then the question we have now is, if they can change a paper that is white to be black with the Atakia, my sisters, our fear now is how in the world, regardless of how sophisticated and superior the argument the lawyers will present in that court tomorrow on Tuesday is, how can they accept it that it's sophisticated enough to bail out or to defend Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Because it's whatever they say that goes, right? Mm-hmm. The Atakia, their intimidation, and again, they are the overlord. So whatever they say, no matter how sophisticated, no matter how superior, the evidence that the lawyers are going to put in that place in that law court or whatever they call it, I'm not a lawyer, will they accept that it is strong enough to deliver and defend Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? We are just in the hands of God praying. Because what they say is what they will implement, whether you like it or not. That's what we are going to accept. They will implement it and we will accept it, because you know what happened? I hope this will not be like the election whereby the result is already out even before the voting. I hope the verdict is not out there waiting, even though the court proceedings haven't taken place, because we are doubting how much sophisticated enough and superior enough the evidence they will accept from the lawyers. I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Bridget. Even though this is what they intended, but it's unacceptable to us. We have law on our side. We're not accepting that Takia, because our leader's health is in jeopardy. He's an innocent man. They have no case against him. They cannot find any evidence against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu because he hasn't broken any law. One of the recent brokers that I came across was saying that everything he's doing is within the constitution of Nigerian government itself. How can you then hold somebody in captivity that is following the law that you yourself have settled? It's foolishness. I don't understand it. Can somebody explain? I don't know. So as far as he is following the laws set up by Nigerian government, UN has stated that he is following the law as granted to him in his human right law. So we are not in support of bail condition. We stand on UN judgment, and we want Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be released unconditionally as per UN, and compensation be paid to him. This is what IPOB women and her gallant men are in support of. Madam Bridget, am I correct?
Of course, yeah, that's what it is. That's what we have been fighting for, and he overqualified for it. But the leadership did not make use of it. The lawyers are intimidated. They couldn't make use of it. So my question is, I hope the verdict is not before the court case, because they have the gun, they have the bullet, they have everything, they have all the weapons, and we must, whether we like it or not, accept the Atakia. So where are we going with this? That's the question the women are asking. Where are we going with this? Since the Takia is going on, the Takia will go with the bail, and even they are bringing the bail, okay? And they are the people who will not accept the argument about the bail and about the release. So where do we go with this?
Okay.
We have to go back to the UN judgment.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Bridget. We do know the takia and intimidation tactics. They are employing it because they have the ammunitions on their side. It doesn't mean they are right. We don't agree with it, but they are trying to shove it down our throat. By the power of God, they shall not. I would like to invite any other panelists if you want to make a contribution to this topic before we go to our final, before I ask Madam Bridget to make her final remarks and we will close. Anybody wants to make a contribution to this topic of takia and intimidation before we round up? We're kind of overstayed. If not, Madam Bridget, I'll come back to you. Please make your final closing remark quickly, and then our pastor will close us in prayer. Please. We've been here for almost 4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We did not start
But
in
it's
time.
needed. It's needed. Yeah.
However, thank you so much, my team of dedicated women. I will repeat it again. Do you remember that circling that we had on that summer of 2019? Onyendu himself said, Beatrice, after this program, please search for that video.
Okay.
Where he said it by himself. I would like to be in the middle, and you circle me. That was a divine exercise. And that is why it is still this group of women that is fighting today alongside with our offspring, the rising sun, to make sure that Onyendu is alive, to make sure that he is released in the right way that he deserves, and to make sure that our people at home get the freedom that they need. We are still praying to God. Everything is in his hands. After all, he is the one that changed Pharaoh's heart for him to change the hearts of the people who are holding very tightly this grand opportunity that God Almighty himself has given to us. So Biafrans, but remember, onye a na-azọ na-azọ onwe ya. Anya atala ụkwa, ji arụ na eze. Go on what is going on. You will not say that today you don't know about this UN judgment and what it entails and what we missed. It's now time for you to start propagating it. It's now time for you to start standing on it. When you stand on it, listen, the Fulanis know the right thing. You are the one that made them to bring up the Atakia. It's your fault. It's our fault, all of us anyway. Because if we are singing about it, they will not bring the Atakia in. But we gave them the opportunity to bring it in. Yeah. So again, you have heard about it. Let's start singing it in the social media about the UN judgment. We have 2 more days for the court case, but still, we can still make a difference so that they know that we know. We know already, and they will back away from the takia. It's human being that presented the takia, right? It's human being that will withdraw it too. If we bring our own out and tell them, listen, how about the UN judgment? You are still part of it. You are still part of this covenant. You are still benefiting from it. You haven't pulled away from them. You are still part of the signatories. So you cannot say that you are not civilized. Yes, you are. A whole giant of Africa. You are not civilized to obey the rules and principles of a covenant that you swore into. So it's time for us to let them know that this is one of the responsibilities they have to take heed to. And we see how it goes. May God bless you all our viewers and all the women, and Pastor Maxwell. We do not know how to thank you. A very special thanks to you. You encourage us when our heart is breaking, when we don't know where else to go. You keep us pulling us up. And you stand there, even though in Nigeria, boldly talking about Onyendu. If there are other pastors like you, we will not be in this situation we are today. Onyendu cried to find out people like you, and I'm praying that you will come out and see that there are people that are willing to stand out. And as a mother, if it is plead, I'm pleading to Binta Nyako, may the Lord Almighty touch her spirit. Let God himself touch her spirit on Tuesday for her to do the right thing. And she will surely be protected. They won't.
Thank you. Thank you for that closing remark. Thank you. And now I will go to our pastor for his closing prayers.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my co-panelists, the resource persons. Thank you, the moderator. Thank you, Madam Bridget, for this platform that you provided for us to always stand in the gap for Nnamdi Kanu for almost 3 years now, and we have not failed. This is spiritual. How we came to know, it was divinely planned, and by the grace of God, that purpose has not been abused. It has been guiding me, even in the times of difficulties. I have remained focused. And if you have observed, for almost 1 month now, I took it upon myself to be broadcasting this United Nations judgment. When the Radio Biafra failed, when all the IPOB platforms failed to be broadcasting it, just like our sister Vivian read out the vision of the Radio Biafra, they failed in this regard. I took it upon myself. Even as a pastor, I have a lot to do, but this is also my national and generational contribution, an assignment, helping to enlighten our people. And one thing I can assure you and our viewers is this: the truth shall prevail, and all the takia, all the lie, all the blackmail, all the sabotage, all the oppositions shall collapse. Nnamdi Kanu shall come out. He shall fulfill his purpose, as all of us have become aware right now that everything is in the hands of God. That if God does not intervene, the story will go the other way around. And we will never stop praying on this platform every Saturday and every other day. And I want to once again thank Bruce Fein, even though he's not here. It's not about the money given to his pedigree, his vast knowledge in the international laws, which he has brought to bear in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. We want to thank him, regardless of all the insults, the humiliation, misunderstandings coming from the other side of some Biafrans who were misled by false information about his role. Still, he is still working, he is still playing his role to make sure that Nnamdi Kanu is released. Want to thank him. And I want to urge every one of you, don't you ever give up, no matter the challenge you face. This has been my major exhortations and inspiration to you for almost 3 years now. I have shown you by example, I have not changed and I will never change. We continue to do what is right. We continue to carry out this enlightenment. After this broadcast today, those of you that are watching, please try and contact the moderator or Madam Bridget on how to join the group. And I just remembered it now. The moderator can give out the contact, because some people who are watching now, they have listened to you, they have heard your views and all the achievement that you have listed out, that you have recorded since the creation of this group. They have heard, and I believe that many of them are very intelligent and they're very wise. They have compared all the facts that were brought forward. They have watched and listened to this very wonderful presentation and broadcast today. And some of them have already made decision to join the group. Can you please give them the direction? Can you please give them, if it is a phone number to contact, if it is a link or a direction on how to join the group? I want you to do that before I pray.
Okay, okay, Biafrans. We have some information on our Twitter homepage. So if you go to our Twitter, you will see us there. We also have I will post our phone number, our information in case you want to support us. It will be posted. So you can check this page right here. You go to our information, you know, there will be more phone number there. But for I don't want to move anything, you know. So this is our Twitter page. As you can see, we're following. This is the program we did on Nnamdi Kanu. So I'm going to be posting our information, including our financial information, in case anybody wants to support us in what we're doing. We are very genuine. There's no story of eating money or no eating money. Even when we don't have, we bring and supplement from our own. You know, we have taxed ourselves. You know, Madam Bridget is like on the forefront of that anyway, as well. So anybody out there who's interested in supporting IPOB women, the IPOB Biafran women, you are more than welcome. We will post our financial information. We have all the ways of sending here in US, and we have what do you call it? There's another PayPal for international people who wants to use that. And our phone number is you can contact us is 646-424-0029. We prefer a text, because we don't have this phone on hand all the time. So if you send a text, explain yourself, who you are, what you know, and the purpose of your text, and we will get back to you. Again, is 646-424-0029 is +1, because it's a US number. All right. Thank you. It's going to be posted on our Twitter account, and it's also going to be on our YouTube and Facebook. So the same.
Can you bring those pages? Bring your YouTube channel to the screen and bring your Facebook page to the screen, because many people really want to see how they can get connected to you.
Okay.
Yes, viewers, take the information very seriously. I have been here supporting them, doing all I can. It is not about the crowd, it's about the genuity, how genuine they are, the genuineness, how committed, sincere, and honest they are. That is the most important.
Okay, this is our YouTube. As you can see, we are currently live right here. So you can go and this is our logo, our uniform, our picture. This actually was taken when we went to London. So there you have it. You can make your contribution. You can send us
subscribe to the YouTube channel you are seeing now. Subscribe to it. When you go to this very YouTube channel you are seeing now, IPOB Biafran Women Group Media House, subscribe to it. When you subscribe to it, try and click on the notification button. Why that notification button is important, it is a bell icon. No, keep it there. Keep the channel there. Okay. Keep it on the screen so that they know the channel we're talking about. Why that notification button is important, so that when the women are having such a program as this, you will receive the notification. You will receive it in your phone, or you will receive it in your email that they're having a program, or they're having a prayer they are having a discussion, whatever it is, a project or a program that they are having. Because if they go live on their YouTube channel, you will receive the notification and you will be able to join them, regardless of where you are. It doesn't cost you anything. So when you subscribe to their YouTube channel, you are not doing them any favor. You are helping them to strengthen them in this great work they are doing. It's very important. Now, you are going to put up your Facebook page, the same. Yeah. Let them see the Facebook page.
Okay.
I know that the screen of the Twitter was brought to the screen here, and you people saw it. When you go to Twitter, follow them. Follow them. You are not doing them any favor. You are trying to contribute to your nation. You are trying to contribute to your country. You are trying to contribute to the future of your unborn children. So it's very, very important. Support them to help to build a very strong community. If someone like me can be here for almost 3 years, you can also be here with them. They have not committed no crime. Forget about the people speaking and lambasting them, speaking out of anger, speaking out of jealousy, because these women are really doing their job, which they don't want to be done. They are trying to use the opportunity of the extraordinary rendition of Nnamdi Kanu to loot money, to continue to siphon money, make money, merchandise. The women came out to work and they're working. So please bring that Facebook page here, bring it so that they will see how it looks like.
Okay, 1 minute.
So as that is going on, also, how will they be able to access this UN judgment, the document? How will they be able to access it? I think if they Google it, can they be able to see the PDF? Can they be able to see the document so that they can upload it?
We're going to post it on our Twitter. I'm going to see how we can upload it to our, attach it as a PDF to, Vivian, maybe you can help me with that.
Very good.
How we can attach it as a PDF. This is our Facebook. This, yes. You know, IPOB Biafran Media House. So,
Facebook page.
Yeah, this is our Facebook page. So you can subscribe and follow us. We do Saturday prayer where we lift our leader up every day, every Saturday in prayer, and we stand in a gap. So so follow us there, and you know everything we're doing. Thank you so much.
So those of you that are on Facebook, anywhere you see this very page, IPOB/Biafran Women Media House, know that it is these very people you are watching right now. That is their Facebook page. Please follow them. Follow them and help to build a larger and a stronger community. You can see that the mainstream media, they are trying to suppress the rights and the UN judgment, the right of Nnamdi Kanu, and also your rights, your future, our future. Without media, we cannot really make stronger impact. These women, they are very serious. They have been able to put up this page in order to help them to disseminate the information of what they are doing, not for them to receive any credit. So help them to build a very strong community where they put up reliable information. On Facebook, when you see this page, just follow it. And anything you see on the page, comment, like, share. It doesn't bring headache to share, to comment, to like. It doesn't take away anything from you. You are promoting the content of truth and sincerity. It's very important to do it. The same with the Twitter post, the same with the YouTube channel. And I want to stop here. Thank you very much. Let us pray, please. I don't know if there's anything to say. Otherwise, we're going to pray.
Yeah. Pastor, please, one more thing, for in case of those who logged in late. We started this program by explaining who we are because of the fact that we are being bundled together and linked with the Umada group. We are not Umada. Please, for those who are just joining, we are IPOB Women Yes, those group of women who formed the Umada were once in our group. We were all together. But you know the system of divide and rule. Nelly was their leader. Nelly came, pulled those women, and they formed Umada, and we let them go. Even though they left, we are still standing strongly as IPOB women, doing what we're supposed to do without making noise. So don't be confused with what you are hearing in the Radio Biafra, China Samori is saying, and other people, and calling all the women who live in America, the Umuadaka. Don't even mind him, because China Samori is now throwing sand. Nwoke na-aghazi aja, onwezi ike ịgbanwe mgbe onwe ike ịlụ nwa ọgụ, ọma ihe ọ ga-eme, so aja ka ọ na-aghazi. Okay, so we are not Umada. We are IPOB women, established and inaugurated by Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in 2019 with vision, mission, and goals. And we are still working on those mission and goals. Thank you very much. And we are the one that actually worked with the Rising Sun group in order to secure this UN judgment that was suppressed. And today they are talking about bail. Whereas this UN judgment, the Nigerian government would have released Onyendu unconditionally and paid him the compensation. But because the UN judgment was suppressed, now they are talking about bail. They won.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted us to take a few moments to debrief after the conclusion. That's all.
All right.
Okay.
All
right. Okay.
I think we have to pray now.
Yes, Pastor. Go ahead.
Precious Father, we thank you again. The Bible says to you that answers prayer shall all flesh come. You have never asked us to seek you in vain. You say you sought for a man that will stand in the gap, but you didn't see nobody. That's why you struck the city. But today, you are not just seeing a man. You are seeing a group of people, the faithful remnant. And that is why you have been able to sustain the life of Nnamdi Kanu. You have worked so mightily that sometimes when I begin to think and imagine the depth of your power and your grace, I could shed tears because it's so deep, it's unsearchable. You cannot be contained or confined. You cannot be restricted. You can choose anyone, anytime to carry out any purpose of yours. Nobody can instruct you. Nobody can educate you. You chose these women for such a time as this, and you brought them together. They have seen all the confrontations and attacks and oppositions, and they stood on the altar of prayer for this such a long time, and you've been answering prayers, protecting and preserving them. Also, for your servant Nnamdi Kanu, we kept on calling on you on this very platform, this very altar, every Saturday and every other day. You kept on protecting him. The valve of his heart is leaking blood. Still, you are protecting him, preserving him. No access to good medical care. You are protecting him, preserving him. No good diet in that detention. Sometimes they deprive him of food. Still, you are protecting him, preserving him. With all the people that want his head on a charger, you are protecting him, preserving him. And now they are heading to a court because of intimidation and the lies of the wicked to ask for bail. A man that you have already freed, a man that you have already released, they are going to ask for bail. But in all, we are very confident, oh dear Lord in heaven, that your will and your purpose shall prevail in all this. Amen. Defend your people, defend the truth, protect everyone that is standing for the truth, expose the lies and give them all their due judgment. Thank you, Father. In the name of Jesus Christ, we have prayed. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Amen.
viewers.
Amen.
God bless you all.
God bless.
Okay.
Thank
you, viewers.
Pastor.
Thank you, viewers. Okay, thank you, Pastor, for that prayer. Thank you. I want to thank all my all the presenters, including Pastor. I want to thank our women leader for your dedication and all your hard work. I want to thank every woman actually here. You guys have worked so hard, and I want to thank you guys. I want to thank all our viewers and those who are going to support us in the future, and those who will be joining us. I thank everybody for watching and listening. God bless you all. And with that, I say goodbye for now, and God bless you all.
Thank you. Don't leave yet. Don't go out. Just take offline.
Wait.
Take
One minute.
offline.
Yeah, 1 second.
I have a message for the women.
Okay, Madam Bridget, 1 minute.
Okay.